Welcome to another episode of the Sippin and Trippin podcast, where we connect with amazing people. Today's topic is self-progression, self-adaptation, and self-development. I am your host, Desmond Black, and the person that's sipping and tripping with me today is a former kitchen manager, but has recently been elevated to executive kitchen manager working at BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. I met him when I used to manage for the same company at a different location. He came down from New York a few times to help out whenever was needed. He is none other than Mr. Andrew Blythe. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. What's going on?
Nothing, just living life, man.
I know, long time
surviving. So, it's been a long time since we really spoke.
Connect, I know.
So, tell me about what's been going on.
Everything's been going great, man. Since the last time I saw you, I was a kitchen manager. No, senior kitchen manager at the time. And
you were senior? Okay.
I was a senior kitchen manager at the time. And from then on, I just got promoted to EKM January 1st of this year.
Okay. Congratulations, bro.
Thank you, man. I mean, shit. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like the position that you're in, what you get for it, the accolades and stuff like that. You still have your ups and downs and stuff like that. It's a restaurant business, what I'm saying? It's everywhere. But it's a learning progress. And that's the reason why I kind of like this conversation that we're having, because it's all ties into it about growth.
Right. I agree. So like I said, congratulations, man. Because when I worked for BJ's, I went from just kitchen manager. I got my little raise, and I became senior kitchen manager. I'm not with the company anymore, obviously. I did enjoy my time there, but things happen sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking about BJ's, man, a lot of things changed at Towns River. Since I left, it's only one manager that's still there. All other ones is gone. Right? Like, so when you used to come down, we had Julia was the GM, right?
Mm-hmm. Julia Marco.
Yeah. So all right. So Marco left. They've been trying to get rid of him because his attitude, and he didn't know how to talk to people.
He's been begging me to come out there. He's like, yo, why don't you come out here? Why don't you come out here? Like, he was trying to flop. He was trying to switch. Like, he was trying to go to Valley Stream and have me come out. I was like, oh. I said, nah, I'm comfortable where I'm at.
Because that's the thing. Because they weren't. So when they decided to part ways with him, well, he didn't get fired, but we just parted ways with him in Towns River. Mm-hmm. He wanted to go to Valley Stream, and they said we don't need an EKM there, right? And they tried to send him. I forgot the other place, somewhere else in New York. He was like, no, I ain't going there.
You're trying to send him to Nanuet.
Yeah, he didn't want to go there. He was like, nah, because he was like, he wanted to be closer to his family and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he wound up sending them to West something out west. I think in Cali or something like that.
He went back to California.
Yeah, he went back to California, and he at the time he sent me pictures, and like where he's at is very small. It looked like a garage. I was like, bruh. He said, yeah, it's hard because it's slower. He's like, it's actually harder to run a slower paced business than it is a busy. You agree with that?
Yeah, I do, bro. So when I went to conference, there was a conference I went to, I think it was the beginning. No, it was last year. Damn, time flies. It was last year. I went to a conference last March, and I met with a couple of other general managers, EKMs and stuff like that. And yes, when it comes to businesses, it is harder to run a slower restaurant than it is to run a busy restaurant. Because when you have a busy restaurant, you're getting sales, you're getting business, so you can have the bodies, you can have the people that can help run the business for you. And I'm saying, because you got the money being generated, so now everything's in place and they can run a better system. So now, when you have a slower restaurant, it's much harder because you still got to run the same system, but with less people. So now you're divvying out other tasks to other people. Now, and that kind of becomes a problem because now you're having two people doing the job for one, where in a busy restaurant, that one person can literally just do that one job. Right. You know what I'm saying? The slow restaurant, the job still got the system still has to be in place. The job still got to get done, but now it's being done to two jobs being done on one, sometimes three. And then sometimes that kind of be unfair. And that's where sometimes you get those pushbacks. And that's the reason why sometimes it's hard to be managing them and things like that. And that's where it all ties into. But yeah, I totally agree. It is much easier to run a busier restaurant than it is to run a slow restaurant.
Right. All right. So, I'm only been a manager for like 4 years, 4.5, something like that. So BJ's was my first managing job.
Okay.
That's when I had my first taste of being a manager. And so that became my measuring stick, as I mentioned on last night's episode. Money wise, just the overall business and the concept. So from there I went to, PF Chang's,
Okay.
much different. So see, PF Chang's, like I said last night, at PF Chang's, your kitchen manager, you just a glorified line cook, right? Like you have to be on that line and cook. That's your whole shift. And I thought, well, no matter what restaurant you was at, if you're a manager, your salary. But at PF Chang's, it's different. The only ones that salary at PF Chang's is a senior dining room manager, right? Now they have regular dining room managers, but you got to have that senior attached to it. So senior dining room manager, your EKM, well, not EKM, they call it EC, executive chef, but it's equivalent to EKM. And then your marketing manager, which is your GM. Those are the only ones that salary. So you're still hourly, but they the way they break it down, as long as you get your hours, you'll get your pay that you signed a contract for. So it was very weird for me, and I didn't like it. So I was getting my 45 hours, because they was like, all I gotta do is work 45. So I was working my 45. But then when business was slow, in the wintertime, I was like down to 22 hours. So I didn't understand how I was still gonna get my yearly rate, right? I was like, how was that thing? I'm 22 hours. So I'm like, now they messing with my money. And that was in Freehold. So that was a 45-minute drive for me. So I'm like, it ain't worth my time. So I didn't tell them right away. What I did was I just knew in my mind I was going to stick around until I found something else. So then boom, I put my applications in. So I am currently the kitchen manager at Carrabba's in Mapleshade.
Okay.
And oddly enough, like it's so they break it down sort of the same way, but the only difference is that it ain't no such thing as you working less than your hours. You got to work your hours.
Yeah.
So theirs is different too. So like I said, BJ's is my first managing job. So I didn't understand none of this. So the way I get paid is like, it's so weird. I don't know if you're gonna catch it, right? Because I still don't comprehend it fully. No, it's like we have to work 50 hours a week. But if you look at the pay stubs, and it says it only shows that we work 80 hours a week. But the way they break it down is they's like, all right, we give you more money, right? So they say it break down like 50 hours a week, whatever. So I was like, I get it. And so it's sort of like PF Chang's a little bit, but the only difference is they don't cut your hours. I'll be trying to get out of it as much as possible, because I'll be working like 55 hours and that's an hour and 10-minute commute. So an hour 10 there, hour 10 back, it's rough. So so a lot of people tell me I'm crazy for taking that drive, but it's like I'm used to it. It's only sometimes I get tired, and that's when it becomes dangerous. But lately I've been having, I don't want to say a rough patch, but I've voiced my concerns, and same with any other company, man. They try to put a band-aid on anything. They gave me a raise, a 3% raise,
because they know your worth.
Yeah, so they was like, we respect you, we value your contributions. Here's a raise. And in my mind, I'm like, man, can I get more? Because ever since I left BJ's, I've been trying to get that same rate, but everybody like, oh, that's too high. So now I'm like, I'm not there for my kids, and that's a problem for me. And if I need the money, I need a raise, or I might not continue to work here. It might not be the job for me, right? So they gave me this raise, and it's like, sure, is it a raise? Yeah, it's a 3% raise. I forgot how much it jumped me up to, like yearly wise, but I still have my ups and downs with the job. But like, I'm still trying to grow and trying to develop. You know what I mean? I don't know if I told you, but like trying to start my own food truck business. Like
I remember you told me that. You told me that when we was talking to BJ's, and I told you to pursue that dream because you always talked about owning your own food truck. And I said, hey, and I remember we had this conversation. I said, how many trucks do you want to have? And he was like this. I said, start with one, get that first one out the way, and then find other people. Once you get that first one out the way, find other people that you can train your system to where they can have multiple trucks in different locations. I told you that.
Right. Yeah, you did. I remember now. Yeah, you know, when sometimes you talk to a whole bunch of people, you don't know who say what, but like as soon as you start talking, I'm like, oh yeah. He the one that said that. But yeah, man. So that's like a year to 2 years down the road that I'm trying to, do that.
All right.
So yeah, so I'm positive. I know I get that up and running. I got equipment out in the truck. I don't know if you looked at my YouTube, but I put pictures and stuff on there, like some of the equipment I got. I just had equipment come a couple days ago, and yeah,
Yes,
I got
you did. I did peep it.
Yeah,
I think it was in like some. I think I saw. Was it some like a grill or something? No.
Yeah, no, I got the flat top pasta cooker, and I
Yes.
got the little 3 tables, and I got my my hand sink. So next week,
Okay.
I plan on getting like 2 pieces, like 3 compartment sink and something else. Yeah, like the most expensive thing as far as equipment is going to be my refrigeration. They expensive.
Oh yeah.
They are. So that's another thing too. Being a manager, like I've managed at BJ's, I managed at PF Chang's, I'm managing at Carrabba's now. I'm just trying to learn the business side of things, right? Once you get that down pat, I'll be on my way. You know what I mean?
Well,
The numbers and everything.
Well, when it comes down to the business aspect, well, I might as well tell my story first too before we get into that part.
Yeah.
So me, I started in BJ's back in 2016. And I started as an app cook, learned my way up.
For real? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was an internal too. Yeah.
Yeah, I started my way up. I started as an app cook, learned my way up. Took me some time, but I was somebody who was always willing to learn. Like I couldn't sit still. And what I mean by that is like I don't want to just stay here. I want to learn. I want to help. I want to be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like me and my EKM, we used to always butt heads because I'm a very strong person.
Who was the EKM at the time?
Keith.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Keith. That's my guy.
Was my man. Yeah,
that's my guy. I love him to death, man. That's like he helped me become the person that I am. And there's other people in my life, which I'll go into in a few, that helped me, that grew my mind in a way. But him, for the past couple of years, has helped me because he used to be a pain in my ass. And I was a pain in his too. But at the same time, I learned to understand him because he used to be very annoying. Like he used to be on your back about, you did this, do that, do that. I'm like, he used to be on your back. But when you are not at his level, when you're not looking from his eyes, you don't understand. But then once you got there, now you understand why he did that. And one day, like I think it was like last year, me and him one night we was cleaning, and I told him, I said, Keith, I want to tell you I love you very much, dearly. I told him that to his face, and I said, although you're very annoying, I said it to his face. I said, although you're very annoying,
yeah,
I wouldn't be the person that I am today if you wasn't that way. And I told him I appreciate that. I really appreciate him for that because sometimes we need people like that. And it goes back to being accountable. You know what I'm saying? We need people who keeps us accountable. We need people who's going to be honest like that. We don't need people in our lives where it's going to coddle us and be on some, no, it's okay, because you're not going to grow.
Right.
You're not going to develop. So prior to BJ's, now I used to work at Olive Garden for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So I learned everything in the kitchen at Olive Garden. Like I said, I want to learn everything. I used to do everything: the truck, the line, prep, dish, everything.
Wait, so you was an hourly doing the food orders?
Everything. Everything. And but because I didn't mind it, because I was just learning, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew, because my mindset is like this: God is going to take care of everything. You know what I'm saying? The time is going to come. See, what I learned from my dad, where he said, like, yo, don't force things. You know what I'm saying? Because when you force things, you ever realize this in life? When you force something, it never happens the way you want it to happen. But when you just let it happen organically,
all the time,
it just happens perfectly. And that's what happened.
Right.
But the sad part about Olive Garden is that they wasn't trying to pay me. They saw my work ethic. I was one of those people who was like, Andrew, can you do me a favor? Can you do this for me? I got you. Can you do this for me? I got you. Hey, can you stay back and close this? I know you're doing prep, but can you close this? I got you. But after a certain point, I went to my general manager and I was like, hey, listen, I don't mind doing all these things. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand the rest of my business, people need help, whatever case. I don't mind helping people. At the time, I think I was getting paid $13 an hour. Right? Yeah. And all I asked was for 16. I said, just give me $16 an hour and I'm good. Because remind me, there was other people that was making $18 an hour and I wasn't even asking for that. I said, just give me $16 an hour. They didn't want to give me that. And I was like, you know what? I ain't with this. So happened at the same time.
Wait, hold on. Not to cut you off. Hold on. I'm trying to do the math here. So like, how long have you been with BJ's?
Since 2016, this August will make it 8 years.
So that's what I'm saying. So you said people was getting 18 an hour, but pre-COVID, that's nobody. I mean, I know. Well, maybe you in New York, maybe in New York, but in Jersey, nobody was getting that. Nobody.
Yeah. Well, New York, you get. No, go ahead. I'm so sorry. No, go ahead.
All I was saying is, I remember because you named in there any restaurant. I don't work there, and it's like so this like my 18th year in the restaurant industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I never got that money. Like, I'm trying to think. I think BJ's was the highest paid job I had. I think I want to say, and like I was an internal like you. I started off as a line cook, but this is my thing because I was working 2 jobs at the time, and one day my girlfriend was like, "There's a new restaurant opened up called BJ's Restaurant Brew House." I was like, I never heard of it, but I was like, I'm gonna apply there. Right. So I applied before they even built the place. They didn't even have the foundation because when I was younger, my mindset was different. Right. So once I knew a new place was getting built, I was like, you know what? I put it in my mind. I was locked in. I was like, if I get hired, I am going to be the best asset to the company. It's nobody that's going to outdo me, outwork me, none of that. And I tell you what, I was committed. I was dedicated. People that was working with me or alongside me, they told me, "Oh, you weird as hell. Like, what are you doing?" I was studying. I went home and I was studying. I told my girlfriend, I told my friends, I told my brothers, "Oh, here, this is the recipes and stuff. Quiz me. Just tell me what the item is. Barbecue pizza. Just tell me." And I have to tell you everything that's in there with the specs. If I get it wrong, that means the whole thing wrong. There's no partial right, none of that. And that's how I was doing it. I said I was going to spend a week on each station, right? And I said 1 week is all it's going to take. I learned a whole lot. I was the fastest one to learn a whole line. You hear me? And it made my day. I come in and they were, "Oh, we need you. And I did things that a lot of people don't want to do, like, "Oh, my shift over," and I seen people need help. I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna hang back, right? I told the manager, like, you like Nestor at the time. Yeah, Nestor was at the time. You know, a lot of managers were, "Oh, no, you got to get off."
Just give you a heads up. Nestor's back. Just
he's
FYI,
back.
He's back.
How?
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
All right, that's why. So that was my man's. That was my. I swear to God, the first week, he was like, "Nah." I see a lot of promise in him. He said, "Mr. Black is the one, bro." Working, bro. What was it? Sandwich station, right? What is that? What they call it there? Sandwich station. What they call it? Huh?
Sandwich station in Tom's, right?
Yeah. Sandwich station.
Right? Yo, that sandwich station was unreal, bro. I'm sorry, y'all got it. That restaurant got it. I told.
And a lot of people, a lot of people they don't know that.
I said not one of y'all. I promise y'all, not one of y'all would handle sandwich at Tom's River. Not one of y'all.
And it's the crazy thing.
It was like, Nestor, they said, "No, you won't."
Nestor will tell you. It's been times. I mean, on a Saturday, I was solo dolo holding it down. Now I did get mad. I was like, "Don't nobody talk to me," but I was holding it down because I had a system. I had a system, brother. Like for instance, what I know a lot of stuff will come in. I get one of those pizza trays. I used to put burgers on that, cooking the mid-rear, put them underneath the little grill. So as they coming in, boom, I already got pre-cooked, boom, slapping them on there. I had a system. I used to top as my wells and my mid-wells. When it was busy and I was solo like that, I was like, my mid-wells are the same as my wells. My mid-rares and my rares the same. If it come back, it come back. And then my mediums, that's, so for me, instead of 5 temps, it was 3 temps. And that's how I was doing it, bro. And they was looking at me like, "Yo, you a monster." And then, so imagine when I had somebody working with me. You know what I'm saying?
Who's on the same page?
Savage. We on the same page. It got to the point where people was like, "I don't want to work at it if Roy ain't working it." Like, come on, man. I took pride in that, bro. I was like, "Yeah, I'm the man." Every man want to feel like they the man. So the first time I left, man, I was unhappy about a lot of things, and a lot of people, they didn't know that I left. I left, and Julia was like, "Oh, what's going to tell you to come back?" And I avoided BJ's because I was like, "Fuck that," because I didn't think I was treated fairly. Because I was so what happened was, because I was working at Margaritas in Tom's River, and I was working at Chili's, and my boy played me because he know I ain't want nothing to do with that job at that point. I love the job, but it's like, if you're unhappy, it's time to go. So
Yeah.
one day he was like, "Yo, I need a ride. Can you come pick me up?" I was like, "Yeah." So I went thinking I'm gonna pick him up, and then he was like, "Oh, I still got like another hour." I'm like, "Bro, that's not what you said. You said you was done." He said, "Yo, go say hi to everybody." I'm like, "Yeah, nah, I ain't doing that." So
He trying
then
to
he
line
was
you up.
like, "Go, yo, people." I forgot the table numbers at this point. He's like, "Yo, go say such hi to such and such." When I went over there, it was not the people he said was over there. It was Julia and two other managers over there. And I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, you need a job? I said, no, I have 2 jobs. She's like, wouldn't it be better to work 1 job? She's like, you know you love me, right? I was like, now I'm on the spot. I'm like, yeah, Julia, I love you, Julia. She's like, so what it's gonna take? She's like, what it's gonna take for you to come back? I'm like, listen, it's management or nothing. She's like, I put the paperwork in tomorrow. I said, oh, bet. Once I see the paperwork, I quit the other 2 jobs. The next day I was at Chili's. She sent me a screenshot of the paperwork. So I told Chili's, yo, I'm only I'm putting my 1 week notice in. It's like, whoa. It ain't supposed to be 2 weeks. I'm like, listen, my old job offered me management. And so this line cook thing is beneath me. I'm going back to be a manager. So they was like, So I only worked like 5 days, and then they was like, well, I came back my 6th day. They're like, you don't have to come here, right? I said, no, I'm gonna work my shift. So I worked 6 days. My 7th day, as soon as I came in, they was like, listen, just go to the other job or take the day off. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you have integrity. That's the only reason why you came in. It's integrity.
And I still didn't leave until I went to the line. I'm like, y'all good if I go? And they're like, yeah. Why you gotta leave? Why don't you stay here? I'm like, listen, why be here when you can be here? You know? I'm like, are y'all good? If y'all need me, I'll stay. They said, no, we good. I'm like, all right, peace, love y'all. I'm out. And that was it. I started working back at BJ's, and I was a manager, man. Like, and that's where it was, man. And I was delighted because I was a blue hat. You know what I'm saying? I was a blue. So it's a lot of things. Even like the second time around, like, so one of the reasons why I wasn't not there now is because what they call it, K school, right there, K school. I was promised for months to go to K school and all this stuff. So they brought these externals. So I know what I was getting. This before I got my raise at BJ's. They brought this one external in. He was a front of house manager, but they started him off with $78K. And I was like, and he sucked. He was trash. He used to pay hourlies to do his job. And I was like, that's a sucker move. I'm not doing that. I want all my money. And it's like, just it's a lot of things about him, man. And then we found out, not just me, other managers, we found out that like he got fired from numerous jobs. They used to call him Creepy Craig. So we started seeing some of this creepiness at the job. Like this one girl, she was at the bar, and he went up to her. He's like, "Oh, you're so pretty," and he kissed her right, not on the lips, but close, right here. Yeah. And then when he still had his job, so now I'm like, oh, if that was me being black, I would have been fired. And he's like, oh, why you gotta bring color into it? But at this point, I was already like feeling some type of way, so I didn't care. Every time I went to work, I was like, listen, I'm gonna come to work. I'm gonna do my job. And that's it. Don't ask me for no favors. They're like, why are you giving us problems? I'm like, man, listen, I don't want to hear all that. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to do my job, and that's it. And that's how I was towards the end of when I was at BJ's. And then so then they was like, oh, he gonna make you EKM. So then I straightened up, right? I said, oh, I'm not gonna act like that. They brought this external in to be they promoted Russell. He was a senior senior dining room manager. AGM. No, he was a senior dining room manager. Okay. So they bumped him up to EKM. So then I'm like, oh, what the fuck? So then I was like, all right, I'll take a back seat. He's been in the company longer than me. Well, no, actually, no, Russell wasn't. He only had like 3 months more experience with BJ's with me, right? But I know other jobs he was like a GM or something. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So he was the EKM. They brought an external in, and he was the AEKM. Now I'm pissed. Every day I'm like, bro, his first day on the job, very first day, he changed my schedules, bro. And then people say, oh, Roy, why you fucking my schedule? I'm like, I ain't do that shit. Right? I didn't even know nothing about it. So now I checked him. He's like, oh, this is my place. It's not this is my store. I'm like, it's not your store, bro. You ain't been here 5 minutes. So I went to Julie at the time, right? Because so Julia was she was fed up, so she went and left. And then we got a guy named Justin, and Justin was like, oh, you need to respect him. I'm like, that's not my boss. Like, it is. It's not. Right? And so it got to a point where like every day I was miserable. Every day I had a problem there. So it was time to go.
Yeah, I can understand that feeling.
And the crazy thing is, when I came to Corrales and I was telling him that, because in an interview I keep it real, and I told him, it was like, oh, we do something like that too. Like, we might promise somebody a promotion, but like, somebody apply, we feel like they'll be better
More
suited.
qualified.
They will jump them in line. I'm like, oh, they said, is that a deal breaker? I'm like, and I didn't want to tell them the truth because I wanted a job, and I didn't want to be an hourly again. So I'm like, listen, my work gonna speak for itself, So I know my position at work, but like you were saying about how Keith, right? But so I met Keith, and Keith, like I said, we became close when I was at BJ's. But my boss, he's super annoying, bro. And I can go on and on about him, so I ain't even gonna do that because we already been talking for almost a half hour, and we ain't even get to the topic yet. So
that's fine.
But everything ties in because it's about self-progression, self-growth, self-development, all that. So, all right. So unless you got something else, I'm gonna jump right into it.
Nah, pretty much everything you laid out. I mean, it was cool to just hear your story because I never really knew your story. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when I first met you, I don't even think you was a blue hat yet. Because I remember, and I told the managers who was there, and I was like, yo, because the first time we met, you wasn't a blue hat. You was about
no,
to be
when I met you, I was when I met you, I was a manager. Because what happened was, yes, when I met you, I was a manager. Remember Elise's stuff? We were managers. So before I left, I was supposed to be a blue hat, right? They gave me, I was doing inventory, I was doing all these things, and they never gave me my hat. They never gave me I still never got the uniform, but they never, on paper, I was a blue hat. Right in the system.
You know what? You're right.
But I never got the.
You was going through K school. You was going through AMP.
Yeah. Yes. You're right. Right.
Because I remember you was asking me questions on how you could do this, how you do that with like inventory and stuff like that. So I remember that part. Because I used to watch him. I'm like, yo. This guy is nice, bro. I used to look at him. I was like, oh, I'm impressed. I'm like, yo, keep an eye on this one because he's on point.
And the crazy thing is, I never heard you say that, but the management that was in Tom's River told me you said that. I'm like, oh, just for that, I was like, I connect with him, and that's my dog. Because I didn't know you were saying that. You ain't tell me none of this stuff. Other people did.
Because I'm the type of person, I know I'm not going to really be around you too long. Right. And I don't want to say something and then what I perceive based on what I perceive off of you. So I'll go to managers that's going to be around you and just say, hey, keep an eye out for him because he's going to be something. You know what I'm saying? So that they're constantly keeping that eye out. But I've always, but when we was working, I've always did encourage you, like, yo, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing because you on your grind. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I've always like working around you. You know what I'm saying? And you was just like, I like working around people that want to work, that want to hustle because guess what? It makes work even more fun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a restaurant industry. Yeah, sometimes we have our BS. Sometimes we have stressful moments. Sometimes shit just hit the fan. But if you have people that's down the gutter with you and just want to make it fun and is willing to work and willing to grind, it just makes all that bullshit goes to the side and just makes it fun. Because at the end of the day, you just laugh about it and you just talk about it next day like, yo, remember what happened yesterday? Da, 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 da. And y'all just start cracking jokes. And then those bring up memorable moments while you're working there with the people that you're in the grind with. And that's the stuff that I do like.
Yeah, you absolutely right. And to be honest with you, like I never told you back then because I didn't want there to be conflict, but so it got to the point where John wanted to send you to help more, and Julia was like, no. Look, Julia was like, no, and I was like, whoa, why? She's like, nah, because when you and him work together, y'all tend to be buddy, and y'all conversate more than y'all do work. Nah, I don't want him to come here. I was like, that's crazy. But you gotta have that connection. You gotta vibe with people. You can't come to work miserable every day, right? But so I was dying to tell you that's what she said, but I was like, I don't know what you might say to her, so I just left her alone.
But here's the thing: if she didn't realize, we was conversating and we was working at the same time. Yeah, we was multitasking. So majority of the time we was on the line, and there was times where I'm on the line, you at QF. I'm on QF, you on the line, and we used to flip flop and be on the line.
Or sometimes we both was on the line.
Or both of us on the line. One person is up, you at one end, I'm at the other end, and we holding it down.
Holding it down.
I hate that part where it's like, all right, I can understand that. Where it's like, yeah, there's people who can talk and who can't do two things at once. Where you could talk and work. I have that at my job sometimes, where people just chat, and can't focus on their work. And I used to annoy that. I'd be like, yo, bro, shut up. I don't say shut up. Well, I don't say shut up. I don't say that. That's disrespectful. I'd be like, yo, chill. And they all respect and understand where I'm coming, because when I talk, I don't talk my guys disrespectful. I built that relationship with my team where I could say some wild stuff, but they know it's coming from the heart. They know my heart. They know who I am. They know I'm not disrespectful. They just know that they doing some fuckery, and I'm like, yo, guys, let's get it together. Like, come on, like, chill out. Let's focus. Let's get to grind. But then you have the people who can work and talk, and those are the people that I don't really bother, because I'm not going to stop you from what you're doing, because you're focused and you're doing your work, and you can chat with other people. But then there's people who can't talk and work. So sometimes I'm like, yo, bro, just focus on your work. Once everything slow down, then you can chat up again. But right now, it's busy. Get this food out the window. That's all I need to focus on.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't really care. It is what it is. I mean, I like Julia. I thought she would have wanted me to come back, but it is what it is.
She was great. I was actually sad that she. Hold on. Somebody put a comment on him. Put the post there right quick. I was actually sad that she left. Now, me and her, we was beefing, right? We was beefing because she had mentally checked out, and everybody saw it. And then it got to the point where, like, she was all up Russ' ass. It was like Russell King, Russell's guy. And I used to talk shit to her about Russ, and she's like, oh, she used to get mad. So I'm like, fuck you, right? As much as I loved her, I was like, fuck you. How you gonna hold it down for this bum? So 3 days before she left, like I'm telling you, we ain't talked for like a week. She came to me and was like, listen, if you think for 1 second that the grass is greener on the other side, you sadly mistaken. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You ain't gonna know what you had in me until I'm gone. So I said, Julia, if you wanted to talk as adults, all you had to do is just say it. Don't come at me like that. So she's like, well, sit down. I said, listen, I ain't one of your kids. She said, sit down. You know what I did? I sat my black ass down.
You sat down, bro.
And we had a conversation.
Because Julia has that, she has that mother figure. That's why she has that motherly figure. I remember about her, like, she's very aggressive, but you can tell it comes from the heart. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing.
Like, that's one thing I knew about her.
The crazy thing is, when we sat down, she cried. And I don't know if it's the conversation or because I seen her cry. I don't know which one it is, but we both sat there in that table. We cried.
Because y'all both, because y'all love each other.
And
people only cry when they love each other.
I sat down mentally. I was like, I feel like I'm less than a man. Like, I'm like, why am I crying? You know what I'm saying? But I accepted it, and we hugged it. We hugged, and it was like an extended hug. And bro, and then so the second to last day, bro, like when she was there, I cried coming in. She was in the office. She looked depressed. I came in, I just cried. She's like, bro, it'll be okay. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to see you go. Shit, it's my time. Then her last day, she ain't even working full shift. She's like, she said bye to everybody. And I don't know why, but I was like, I'm not going to approach her unless she approached me. And she just grabbed me, like, she was behind me. She just grabbed me, spun me around, and she grabbed me. And it was the tightest, firmest hug I ever had in my life. So I love you. Keep pushing. I want you to be great. Right? And then a week after that, she was like, listen, I know you got a family, but if you are interested in coming out west, I'll gladly accept you.
She's in Vegas, if I believe.
Yeah, she's in Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah, what she was happy about because she's a Raiders fan and all that stuff.
Yeah, and her family's
I was like, I really don't want to leave Jersey. Plus, it's not just about me; it's about my family.
Yeah.
But I did want to be with her, you know. But then we got Justin and all that. You know, it's a long story from there. But like, let's just get to this topic real quick.
All right. Right.
So, have you ever lost a family member or someone close to you due to suicide?
No, but my fiance has.
Okay. What about drugs? Have you ever lost a family member or someone close to you due to an addiction?
No. I could say he was close, but he really wasn't. No.
Okay.
So I know somebody but he wasn't that close to me.
I got you. So you mentioned your fiance, right? And this is the thing. If she's your fiance, that means you're thinking about marriage. And then when you talk about marriage, you talk about a union. And when you talk about a union, you talk about taking 1 + 1 combining to make one, correct?
Yeah, right.
So I know you might not have been close to that person, but you're close to your fiance. So
Right.
how did you guys deal with the heartache? How do you
Well,
deal with
me,
the pain and trauma?
well, with her, all right. So with her, she was devastated, like because it was a close friend of her that somebody she grew up with, and then he was somebody that was pretty much a director and a producer in California, and it was around COVID when it happened because things wasn't happening, and the man took his life. But she was devastated, like she was really like traumatized, and through that situation as her man, you just have to be there for her. You just have to just hold it down, whatever she needs. Just be that comfort support. Like me, I'm the type of person when it comes to a situation like that, I don't like to bring it up because like I have somebody at my job who like dad passed away. You know what I'm saying? And she got like around Father's Day, whatever case, when she was willing to work.
Right.
She said, "Oh, because she was kind of acting funny towards me." I'm like, "Why are you
Your
acting like?"
who your fiance?
No, not my fiance. I'm just giving another example of why.
Oh,
Okay,
another example.
before I go into that topic, so with my fiance, it's just like I don't like bringing up certain situations because the reason why is I don't know what your mental state is at that moment. Because you could be at a point where you're like, I'm good, my day is going by, and you're probably trying hard not to think about it. And then I come and say, hey, babe, how's everything going? I know you got, such and such passed away. Now all of a sudden, them thoughts just hit you like a ton of bricks when you was trying to, how I should say, get over it. Not get over it, but like move on is a better way of trying to say it. Move on from what's going on. So I'm very like when it comes to those type of topics, especially people who's close to me, I really try not to bring it up, but I'm there for you when you need to talk. Like if you want to talk about it, I got an ear. You know what I'm saying? You want to cry, ball out, I'll watch you. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like seeing people cry either because it makes me get emotional. It's probably the Scorpio in me, but it's just like
No. Hey, listen, I commend you for saying that because a lot of men they be fake, man. Because you can't hide from emotions. You can't hide from being sad or whatever. And a lot of men they think being a man is all about being hard or being tough.
nah.
They try to act like they never have a soft moment or they never have a moment of vulnerability, right? So I commend you for even admitting that, being honest, because every man feel like that. But like, I don't like if you close to me and you cry, I'm gonna cry. I just told you about me.
Yeah,
I just told you about me and Julia. I
yeah.
was like, and I told you mentally, I was like, damn, am I punk? Am I less than a man? Because that's not how I was raised, right? But like, shit
You was
get to
made
me.
like we as men, we was raised to be strong, like
Yeah,
man up. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all are born with emotions. You know what I'm saying? We're all born with that in us. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for men who be like, oh, I don't cry, whatever case may be, bullshit. You're not crying right now, but I guarantee you, once you go in your yard and then you in your closet, you're bawling, and it's fine. But don't sit there and say that you don't cry. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit here and say that you don't have those feelings or whatever the case may be when a situation happens. Yeah, I understand you ain't trying to embarrass yourself, quote unquote, in front of other people because you're crying. It makes you look weak. It's not making you look weak. It just shows that you have a heart. It just shows that you
you're
care.
right.
It just shows that you're a human being.
You're right.
You know what I mean? That's all it
It's
is.
nothing wrong with. Hey, listen, it's nothing wrong with being compassionate. Like, so my older brother, he has his own podcast called the What's Cooking podcast because he's also in the restaurant industry, right? He's a chef. He works out in New York. So he had a podcast episode where I said that um men should embrace their feminine side, and right away he was like, "Oh, nah, that's gay." I'm like, "No, it's not," because this is the thing. It's like when I say embrace your feminine side, right? Like, because when you talk about feminine traits, what's the first thing that come to your mind?
Girl, female.
Girl, female. All right, you go a little bit deeper than that,
Go a bit
or is
deeper.
that all you think about?
Well, when you think about feminine trait, it thinks. I mean, what you want to say? Like they more, flimsy. Like I mean, when I think
Okay.
feminine. When I think feminine trait, I just think that you move like a gal. That's how I think. I say, yo, stop moving like a gal. You're a man. Be a man. But it's you know what I'm
Okay. So
saying?
for me, so in America, right? Like society say like feminine traits are one like if you're being having patience is a feminine trait, or being soft is a feminine trait, or nourishment is a feminine trait, crying is a feminine trait. You know what I'm trying to say? Like when fathers have sons, they tell them, "Oh, you man up, right? Now, don't do this,
Mm.
don't cry. Men don't cry. Men don't do this. Men do that." You know what I'm saying? For me, it's what society says is a feminine trait, right? It's just the softer side of you. But I
So
feel like, go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. I got something. I got something to talk about with
So,
that part,
so
with that point there. But go ahead.
no, go ahead, because
Are you,
I'm gonna feed off you. I'm
all right.
sure.
As I got older, and when I hear about men saying, "Oh, be tough," yes, I understand about being a man. You got to be tough, but at the same
Mhm.
time, even as a child, even as a teenager, and even as a man, still show your emotions. Why? Because you understand, as we grow up, especially us, especially fathers who just all that, don't cry, don't try, don't cry, don't be tough. These are the ones that end up becoming serial killers. These are the ones who end up becoming suicidals. These are the ones who end up,
Mm,
because they bottle up all that feelings. These are the ones that people that just go crazy and start killing off people, because why? They don't know how to express themselves, or they
mm,
decide to take drugs and try to drink, or whatever the case may be, because they never had the opportunity to really express how they feel.
mm.
And I feel like, especially in society today, which is actually getting better, as I can see just in life and just people around me, that has kind of slowed down. Where yes, fathers are being telling their sons to be tough, but you start seeing fathers starting to have that softer side with their sons, and it's only reason because it's needed.
But we don't see that
Especially,
a lot. I feel like we don't see that a lot.
I, I mean, it depends on the person. It depends on your perspective. It depends on who you are. It depends on what you're around. I've
Right.
seen it with men in my circle. I've seen it
Okay.
with, you know, people of friends, and I've seen it how they pull their son to the side, their son crying. They don't be like, "Oh man, up." No, they be like, "Nah, go ahead, ball." And then at one point they'll tell them, "All right, you got it all out." They be like, "Yeah, all right. How did you feel?" Uh, I didn't, like they have that conversation about their feelings. You see, that's the one thing that us as men, we gotta learn how to express our feelings.
Right.
I agree with you. Allow your kids to figure out life. Yes, I agree with that. Allow your kids to figure out life. Sometimes you can't have them bottle up. Allow them to feel. Experience. I used to. This is what I always tell even my kids and even with my friends' kids and everything like that. I used to say, "Hey, listen, you gotta let your kids learn. You gotta let them learn, and the best way to let them learn is by let them experience in it." And I used to always use this quote where I just said, "Hey, listen, you want a kid not to play with fire anymore?
Right.
How do you let your kid not play with fire anymore?"
I teach them.
Nope. Yo, yeah, you can say that, but let them play with fire.
Well, yeah, well,
Let them, let
yeah.
them,
You let them live and you learn.
let them touch that flame and see they
Yeah,
touch
yeah.
it again.
So they got to live and learn, right? So
Right.
a lot. I say this a lot. Everything in life, right? It's about people, places, and things, right? Like you have to go through. You got to go through the fire to experience something. If you don't
Right.
experience something, you can't learn. You can't grow.
Right.
And that's apropos because that's today's topic. But
Right.
that is how you grow. That is how you learn, right? And knowledge
Yeah.
is power. So unless you go through the fire, unless you face with adversity, you will never you can't properly really grow because life is all about facing adversity. If you think about it, because
Life
you're
ain't
not going
perfect.
to get the things you want when you want it.
Nope. It's all about delayed gratification. That's what life
Right.
is. You see, we're in a world where it's sad to say, but that's just how life is.
Mhm.
Everything's about instant gratification. Everybody want to be instantly gratified, instantly gratified, instantly gratified, but not realizing life is all about delayed gratification. Yeah, you
Right.
want to be instantly gratified. Yes, you want to be instantly gratified, but just understand that life is about delayed gratification. You have to have patience. You have
It's
to
funny you
wait.
said it because on yesterday's episode, right, I said that the way the human mind is programmed, right, it's we're trained to avoid
Adapt.
pain and
Mhm.
seek pleasure,
Right.
right? But everything of worth has a difficulty factor attached to it, right? So if I only avoid pain and seek pleasure, I would never in my life have anything of value.
No.
So
No.
yeah,
No,
so
you won't.
people got to understand that. So listen, like I said, on this platform, I like to conversate, educate, and I love to entertain, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do here. You know, that simple as that, man. So earlier when I was like, when I asked you how do you deal with the heartache, right? You know, I know it was more so for your fiance than it was for you. But if she's dealing with it and you're with her, then you have to deal with her. So therefore, it's the both of y'all dealing with it in a
Yeah,
sense, right?
yeah,
You get that, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned that because mental illness is a real thing, right?
Oh, tell me.
Now,
That was the reason. That's one of the main thing he had. He was. That's part of suicide, mental illness. But go ahead. Sorry.
so no, you good. So look, what I was gonna say was I never was a believer, right? But lately, I've started to think that we all deal with mental illness to some capacity,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like all things in life, right? Like there's different levels, there's different degrees, right? Meaning that like mental illness is more severe for some, right, than it is for
Mm-hmm.
others, right? Like it's just human nature, right? Everybody deal and cope with things differently. But I think that everybody truly has mental illness. Because to me, mental illness is just like not having the capability or not having the knowledge to know how to deal with certain traumas in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
And because that's the reasons why people have, as I said before, they find other sources what they call gateways. You know what I'm saying? You have mental illness where it's like, yeah, I can't cope with this. You know what?
Yeah,
My mindset, my mind belief is like, yo, I can't get. They feel that they can't get through it, so they need a gateway to deal with that mental illness. Where it comes to drugs, where it comes to gambling, where it could come to sex, it could come to anything that you can feel better about yourself. But the problem is that you're not really solving that problem,
Right?
and that's the reason why.
You're just putting a band-aid on it.
Facts. And that's the reasons why us, especially, I would say everybody. I'm saying everybody because it's live. I'm saying everybody. But us,
What was you about to say as blacks?
Us as African Americans.
No, just say if you want to say blacks. This is a safe place. Speak how you want to speak. That's it.
All right. Well, I'm saying us as African Americans, as black people, we need therapy.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
Single one of us need therapy. Why?
Therapy.
Because you have to understand us as black people, what we go through on a daily basis. Guess what? Yes. Is racism still alive? Hell fucking yeah.
Hell
yes. Saying? Yes, it is. Has it gotten better? Yes, it has.
Yes,
it's not the way how it is back in the 50s, 40s, and 30s. It ain't how it is back then. We're getting unified, but it ain't there. I want to say it's nowhere near there yet.
Right.
But because of what we go through and the scrutiny that we go through, and when it comes to jobs, and when it comes to getting things, when it comes to getting loans, when it comes to getting homes, when it comes to getting anything in life, we get treated differently than others. And then that's traumatizing, because how is it unfair that, this person can get it, but then we can't?
Right.
I make the same amount of money that this person make, or matter of fact, I make more money than what this person make, and I can't even get it, but this person make less than this person can get it? Come on, That's not fair.
That's why I tell. Listen, my girlfriend's white, and I tell her all the time, and not just my girlfriend, but other people that's white, right? That's in my circle. I tell them, you will never understand what it means to be black, right? Yep. We might not live in those times back in slavery times, but it still exists. And slavery I feel like slavery will never die, in my opinion.
It just turned to being employed.
Right. Like so look, many people struggle dealing with depression, right? And sometimes, like you said, all they need is just therapy, right? But you say like black people, but like black people, yes, but like people in general, yes. So sometimes when you suffer through depression, all you need is therapy. But like this is the thing. When people look around and there's no one there to counsel them through all the pain and all the trauma, that's when shit get worse.
Yep.
A lot of people commit suicide because they didn't get the therapy or the treatment or the counseling that they needed. Right. So let me speak about therapy. Let me ask you this: have you ever been in therapy before? Since you said black people need therapy, have you ever been in therapy?
I have been, but I only went to one court because a friend of mine went with me, and I do.
Wait, you said you only been to what?
One therapy. Like I've been to one.
What, like one session?
Like one session. Somebody and be judged. Well, I could agree with that. Nobody wants to be judged, but how should I put that? Because that is a great thing that she just said. Nobody wants to be judged, but here's the thing: everybody judges everybody.
That's true.
We judge everybody. regardless if they tell you or not. But the one thing about a therapist is that, and I always thought about going back because we go through trauma. Sometimes it's okay to have it. Yes. You know what I'm saying? But it's expensive. It is expensive. I ain't gonna hold you. That's the reason why it's here's where it goes with therapy. Sometimes you don't have to go to a actual doctor. Sometimes therapy is just talking to that person that's like your right hand man. That's sometimes true. Is your right hand man who knows you, who knows your thoughts, who grew up with you, where that you can just talk to them and then they can help you go through your problems. It doesn't have to be somebody you have to pay. Therapy can be your partner, because that partner who is actually your other best friend who knows you and know who you are can help you go through your traumas. Your therapy could be your parents.
Right. Now, I'm sorry to cut you off, but listen, I love what you're saying, but this is the thing. So I say that all the time, like, but this is the thing. When we talk about the black community, we talk about blacks, right? It's like we look at therapy or counseling as being weak, right? Like, so that's where it becomes difficult. And like when we feel that way, we have kids, we teach our kids that, and that's wrong. Like, not me, I don't teach my kids that. I try to teach them the right way, because I'm all about education. I'm all about intellect, knowledge, all that, because knowledge, like I said earlier, is power. But most black households, black households, they don't teach their kids properly, right? So I tell my girlfriend all the time, man, like, you what was I saying? You have to be able to you have to have that person to talk to. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I said, she's white, and the one thing I tell her all the time is, the one thing that white people have that black people don't have is, white people are carefree. They can have no rhythm. It could be 1,000 of them in one room. No rhythm. The beat, the song could be slow. They moving fast as fuck.
I give them that,
and it's okay for them. Yeah. But let's flip that. When a black person is not on beat and no rhythm, they get criticized. They like, you're a cornball, you're a weirdo, you gay.
But here's the crazy part. White people get criticized too, but they don't give a fuck.
No. White people they don't get criticized by their own. They get criticized by blacks or whoever. Mostly blacks, in my opinion. White people are they so carefree. And this is the thing. So white people, right? And I tell my girlfriend this all the time, because I see it with her feeling when I come around. They just so jolly. I say this all the time to her. White people are so jolly, right? Now, if black people was jolly, what you gonna say? You gonna say, "Oh, you crazy as hell, bro." You gonna say you white. Listen, this is the thing. At the end of the day, my skin color is black, right? I don't talk with all the slang. I don't fucking tap you every 2 seconds. I hate that shit. A lot of black people are like, "You're not even black." They try to take my black card because I'm not tough. Ghetto. I'm not. Yeah. No, I don't say tough, because I wish a nigga would. But but I'm not ghetto. My parents wanted more for me when I was growing up. They wanted me out of the hood. And there's been times I lived in the hood. So I would say I'm kind of like what you would call an in-betweener. Right? Like, I try to be sophisticated. It's like in between the white world and the black world. That's me. Now I don't give a fuck. I am who I am.
Yeah, as me growing up, so my friends used to call me an Oreo. They always call me.
So we got something in common.
Yeah, so they always call me Tommy. They always feel like, hey, you're Tommy. You know what I'm saying? You can act ghetto, you can be out there, but you know how to act sophisticated. I said yes, because you got to learn how to adapt around your surroundings.
Exactly.
You know you got to learn how to adapt. You got to learn how to maneuver around the people you are. Like, you can't be around a certain group of people and then act this way and act this way around a certain group of people this way. You got to learn how to adapt in the environment that you're in. You know what I'm saying? That's how you grow. That's how you learn. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the topic today, about growth, self-development, adaptation. Adaptation is knowing how to adapt to your surroundings.
That's how animals. That's why you think animals is able to live, because they adapt. They learn how to adapt.
We try to love life regardless of the surroundings.
Yeah, we try to love life regardless of the surroundings. But guess what? Here's the one thing about us black people: we're always judgmental.
See, that's true. And you know what? I get on this platform and I try not to speak the truth, because
we're always judgmental. We're very
other
judgmental.
black people gonna look at him like, oh, why you a sellout?
Yep.
And white people be like, I knew that about you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, we're very
So I
judgmental.
try not to, but I try
So
to.
it's like I
Like I
can't
said,
sit here and
right. Again, I like to conversate, educate, and entertain. So I
yeah,
can't educate if I half-ass this shit.
yeah.
So
You don't know
if I
anything.
feel it, if I know it, if I lived it, I had to speak on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So that's where I'm coming from, man. So you say you only went to one session, right? So it's a two-part question I'm gonna ask you.
Okay, go ahead.
What were your thoughts during that during or after that first session or that one and only session?
It was good. It was actually good. It was
Mm.
because when they sat down, they talked to you. And they actually said, listen. This was years ago. This was when I was probably like 22 years old. I'm freaking about to be 37. So this was years ago because when I went to our session, I realized, okay, all they really just ask you questions because, to be honest with you, it's crazy what I'm about to sound, but a lot of people already know the answers to their problems. They just choose not to do it.
That's powerful. I like that.
You know, we all know the answers, but instinct because why we're no different than animals. We have instincts too, but the problem is that we allow our emotions to deter our instincts, and that's
So
the reason.
one second here. So you said that. So in last night's episode, my older brother said that we're smarter than animals. I beg to differ. So
Nope,
in your opinion,
nope.
what do you think humans are smarter than animals or animals are smarter than humans?
Okay, all right. So this is going to be kind of twofold.
Okay.
Are we more intellectually smarter than animals? Meaning that can we learn, adapt, grow, build things and stuff like that? Absolutely. We're the most intelligent race on earth. We're the most intelligent race, right? But when it comes to instincts, animals has us beat by a fucking mile, bro. Because you got to learn how to live off your instincts. See, the reason why a lot of us don't grow in life is because we're not living off our instincts. We're allowing our emotions to deter us from our instincts. Think about it. Every time you go through a situation, that feeling you have, you know what to do. But guess what? You're like, the moment you go, I don't know, is your feelings kicking in from your instincts when your instincts is giving you the answer right there. Your instincts is like, yo, do this, do this, do this, do this. But your feelings is letting you, I don't know, whatever the case may be. And then that also goes when it comes to opportunities. When your opportunities come about, and you like your instinct is telling you to do it, but then your mindset, your thinking, your thought process, you're thinking too hard is allowing you to miss that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? That's why it says opportunity only knocks 3 times. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes we allow our emotions to miss all 3 of them door knocks.
Right. So for me, I don't know. I kind of feel like animals are more sophisticated than humans, right? And the reason why I say this is mainly because I don't think that. I mean, obviously, I'm not an animal, so I can't really speak on it. But I
see it.
From what I see, is like animals. They don't live their life on emotions like humans do. They don't look at like it. For animals, there's no such thing as money, power, respect.
No.
Right. So they don't. So when you take out money, power, respect, you take out that thought process from human beings. Then now we dealing with a different species. We dealing with a different human being, right? And animals don't deal with it. Like the koala bear. Don't you know? Like koala bears, they can do mathematics. I've seen it. They did studies and they taught an animal how to do certain things. They taught a dog how to walk on 2 feet. I've seen it. Many studies. And so you could teach. So they're still breathing. They're still human beings. They might be a dog, but it's still a human being. Because if you look at what a human being is, by definition, is somebody that you reproduce. You have the ability to learn. You know what I'm saying? You breathe. So by definition, animals are still human beings. You know what I'm trying to say? And I don't agree with this, but a lot of people believe that black people evolved from apes. Now I fucking hate that. I'm gonna tell you the truth. But if for the people that believe that black people evolved from apes, right? Yeah, I feel like they're an idiot because also on top of that, they say that black people are the first people. They're the original people. So if you believe that they are original people, but they evolved for apes, that means we evolved for animals. So that means essentially apes, which are animals, are smarter and more intelligent than humans. But people don't acknowledge it. They don't like to break down shit like that. And then, like a person like myself, I said I'm built on intelligence. I like to study. I like to read. Knowledge is truly power. When you read, you know what reading do for you? A
It
lot.
teaches you a lot.
Socialization skills. It builds your vocabulary. Who doesn't want to be able? And no matter what situation, no matter who you're around, you can adapt, right? And that's apropos again. Self-adaptation. You can adapt. You can blend in. You can hold the conversation with anybody on God's green earth. Who don't want that? So so white people don't look at like intelligence as being corny or weak, but black people do. That's what's wrong with the black community.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Honestly. So I want to get to this. When I asked you about, if you know anything, about therapy, I actually did counseling. I was I believe I want to say either a sophomore or junior in high school. I was going through it. Grew up in a broken home. That's another story. And I was very depressed. My family, I felt like my family was against me. I felt like nobody loved me. I was looking for love. I was maybe in the wrong places at times. It's a void that was missing that I wanted to fill. Right. I felt like I was the bottom of the barrel, but I knew I wanted to be better. Right. Hold on. Females build emotion and then allows you to.
Well, here's the one thing, and not to stop you, but I agree with that. I feel like females are more intelligent and more stronger than us men, especially mentally and emotionally. Y'all know how to grasp it hell of a lot better than us. We like us men. It takes us a minute to grasp our emotions. Women, y'all grasp that in a heartbeat. And I'm saying, that's why sometimes we say, why is she acting out? But you just know how to handle it better. Us men, we don't know how to handle our emotions. So, I mean, I agree with you 100% on that. But go ahead, Roy.
Hold on. One more thing. Never get finished what I was saying. So somebody else must like what we talk about here. So back to what I was saying, though. Like, so when I was going to counseling, listen, it's something that I asked for. It wasn't court ordered. None of that. The school didn't say it. Nobody told me you need to go to therapy. It's something that I said, I can't deal with life. It's so hard for me to cope. I need to speak to somebody that I can trust. I need to let it all out. Right. So my guidance counselor, when I was in high school, said, "Oh, listen, call this person. Give him a chance." Oh, yeah. This happened to be my older brother that I was talking about earlier. He's here. So I appreciate that. Just the crazy. So the crazy thing is this: even though I'm the one that said I needed counseling, I needed therapy, right? Which a lot of black men are scared of to admit that they need therapy, right? Don't you know it took me a month before I opened up? And that's crazy. I wanted to speak to somebody, but like I sat on that couch, he asked me questions. I was like this. And I sat there. So it was supposed to be an hour long. And I sat there for a whole hour. They didn't say nothing for like 6 days. Right. And that wasn't like like Monday through Sunday. It wasn't like that, but it's like once a week. So when I say 6 days, I mean for 6 weeks, I ain't say shit. You know why I opened up or when I opened up?
Why or when? Yeah. You said when it took you a month to open up. That's when, but why you
it took me 6 weeks. So that's technically a week, a month and a half.
Yeah.
Before I even said a word. I was going through something because listen, I love my father, man. This is the thing. And hopefully I don't get emotional now. This is the thing. When I was growing up, I wanted nothing to do with my father, right? Because of things I knew in my life. When I was young, he didn't claim me. He was like, "Oh, your mom must have cheated on me. I'm not your dad." Like I had to deal with that for a long time in my life. So me and him had problems for a long time. So what I'm getting at is this: I lived with my mom my whole life, basically. But like in the summertime, she allowed my father to see us, me and my younger brother. And the court said, "Oh, that's not going to happen." But my mom allowed that to happen. So we was in North Carolina, and he loved my younger brother because he dark skinned. He was like you. He dark skinned, maybe even a little darker, just like him. So for me, I was lighter skinned. So like you see me now, I was lighter when I was younger. And he was like, "Oh, your dad's a Mexican. He does this and that." And I was like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'll be saying about accountability and all that stuff. Like growing up and you hearing these stories, you hearing how he really felt, I had a resentment. So it got to a point where like my brother can get everything under the tree, but I didn't get shit from my father. You know what I'm trying to say? So I had that resentment. And so one day I couldn't take it no more. I went to therapy and I broke down and I cried on that couch. That therapist, he was a male, he came up and he gave me a hug. And without me thinking about what was happening, I embraced it. I gave him a hug. And I sobbed, I cried. I mean, snot coming out the nose and everything. And you know what? Every week after that, guess what I did? I was the first one to speak. I let my feelings out. I let it all out. I did not hold back. You know what I'm saying? So we talking about self-progression and therapy and counseling, bro. So it helps. So I told you I never believed in mental illness, but like as I got older, I started saying, like, maybe we all go through it. And I thought about myself in that situation when I was growing up. I needed that. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be who I am now.
Right.
And the thing is, even then, I used to say he's not my father. That's not my father. He didn't care about me. But as I got older, as he got older, I said, you know what? He's declining. And guess what? Me and my father have the best relationship right now. I just came back from a short vacation. It was a short, very short. I was only in North Carolina for 4 days, and I cried. Not in front of my girlfriend, but like, we went to a rest stop and I cried because men are taught to not show emotion. I didn't want her to see me cry, and I cried because I feel like there wasn't enough time, and I feel like and all he talked about was, "Oh, my will. I'm gonna start doing my will. I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you that." Right? And he told me some of the things he left for me and my younger brother in his will. And I'm like, bro, listen. As long as you live it, I want to hear that shit. I don't. Right. It hits home, bro. That makes me very, very fucking emotional. And then when I sit there and say, well, I wasn't taught to be weak. But one thing I realize is the older I get, the more sensitive I get. Do you feel the same way or no?
As the older I get, the more sensitive I get?
Yeah.
It depends. Like I used to be more sensitive when I was a kid, when I was younger, because I didn't know how to take certain things. So everybody said, "Hey, you mad sensitive, because I used to just speak my emotions like, yo, why is this? But as I got older, I learned it was kind of flip-flop for me. I kind of like learned how to just hold it down. And then, how should I put it?
He said, that's not weak. And then he says, do you have a problem? I mean, this thing, I don't want to call it a problem. I feel like, but mentally, do I feel like it's a problem? Yes. But like when I'm not dealing with emotions, I'd be like, no, it's not a problem, right? I just have to figure out a way to cope and navigate to get past that.
And then with that, that's what kind of helped me get better is like reading books. You know what I'm saying? Like reading books help you understand how to process certain things in life as you get older, because as you get older, you start to understand things much better. So what I would say is
called maturity. Yep.
Yeah. So when it says I got more sensitive, I mean, we're human beings. We're going to be sensitive regardless, but it's how you handle that sensitivity. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when I'll be like, okay, does this situation deserve my emotions, or does this situation don't deserve it? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
He said, hey, that's why I'm not. No, because that's he's the older. So my mom had 5 kids. he's the oldest. He said that's why you're not the oldest.
No, I know. That's what I know. He's just fucking with you. I know. It's
yeah,
listen.
he trolling. He trolling.
Nah, it's fine. And I love, and that's the thing I love. I love that you have family members that even brothers, sisters, who's there for you. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have people like that, because like I said, especially if they grew up with you. If they didn't grow up with you, I mean, it's one thing. But if y'all learn to, at one point in your life, y'all learn to grow with each other and get to understand each other, that's one thing. But when y'all grow with each other your whole life, that's like another thing. When we go back to theory, that's another person you could talk to, because people that you grew up with are the best people that you could talk to when it comes to expressing your emotions, because they know you, they've watched you grow, they've seen you accomplish things, they've seen you fail at things, they know what you're good at and what you're not good at, they know that what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do. That's why when it goes back to the therapy thing, is just you don't have to you don't have to go to a therapist. You literally know your own answers, but sometimes you need somebody to talk to release those emotions that you have bottled up. Because like you go back to it saying, us as Black men, yeah, we don't like to express our emotions because we feel like we're weak, but at the same time we need to, and that's why you need to have a partner. That's why you ever hear them saying like where girls get jealous, where like, oh, you could divulge all your information to your boy, but you can't divulge all your information to your girl, whatever the case may be, because sometimes there's certain information that you can't divulge, like certain information, because it's just that certain gateway. But as you grow up and get more mature, you should be able to divulge that information with your partner. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that takes time because you're still probably trying to still learn the person that you're with before you're able to do that.
Right. So fun fact, right? I did studies, right? Like, I like to be prepared. Like I said, I like to educate. And in order for anybody to educate, they got to do research, right? So I did my research. So they say males die from suicide 3 to 4 times more than females, right?
Oh, I know exactly. Go ahead.
This greater male frequency is increasing those of the age over 65. Suicide attempts, though, are between 2 to 4 times more than females. I mean, not two females, among females, right? Why do you think this is?
Wait, say that.
All right, yeah.
Say that again, because the question kind of got jumbled. Say it again.
All right. So it says males die from suicide 3 to 4 times more than females. This greater male frequency is increased in those over the age of 65. But suicide attempts are between 2 to 4 times more among females. Why do you think that is?
So it's a plethora of things, bro. Well, you have to understand one thing when it comes to females. See, us men, they said us men, and I'm saying all men, us men, we have it hard, but we don't have it as hard as women. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why.
I'm surprised you said that. Why do you say that? It's interesting.
I'm gonna tell you why. You don't have to walk around the streets and worry about getting raped. You don't have to walk around the streets and worry about getting kidnapped. You don't have to walk around the street about getting, I'm not going to say cheated on, but you don't have to walk around the streets and then as a female, you grew this child, you birthed this child, and then you have to grow it on your own. So women has to go through a lot more trauma.
So men are savages, we're dogs, we a piece of shit.
I wouldn't say we're savage. I wouldn't say we're savages or dogs, but I'm saying is as women, they think about it. All right, how come think about if you look at a male and a woman, a male and a woman, a guy and a girl walking down the street in the middle of the night, who you think is going to get raped faster?
Oh, obviously it's women.
Women.
When the ratio between women getting raped and men getting raped, it's not even a close conversation. Yeah, it's not even close.
So I'm just using that as an example of what they got to go through. Think about the things that women got to go through when it comes to, life and stuff like that. Like, I could understand why they would go through suicide and stuff like that, because it's a lot they got to deal with their plate. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think you misunderstood what I was saying. So what I was saying was, let me go back to what I was saying. All right, hold on. What's it?
Because I'm about to get really deep.
I know. And I was like, I feel like you misconstrued the question. Saying. So it's saying males die from suicide, actually die from suicide 3 to 4 times more than females. Right? I said this greater male frequency is increased in those of the age over 65. So
Mhm.
so so
Basically,
and then
more is doing it over 65.
right, right. But
Okay.
we talk about that actually go through with it, right? So then I said suicide attempts, not suicide. Suicide attempts are between 2 to 4 times more than for females than it is for men.
Right. No, we're on the
So
same page. I didn't say that
okay.
they.
So
We was
all
on the
right.
same page. What I was saying is because I wasn't saying that they was going to make suicide. They go through that thought process of trying to make that attempt because sometimes women
Mm,
see women wants to be loved. You know what I'm saying?
that's true.
He said women wants to be loved, and then sometimes women want to feel like they're being taken care of. Now I understand we're in a world.
One second, Drew. I gotta say this because I know he watching. Chef Dennis, you gotta elaborate on that. Why you say that's a poor example? I'm a little confused. You gotta elaborate. But go ahead, Drew. Until he elaborate, he gotta because I'm a little
Damn,
confused about that.
maybe lost that train of thought. Damn,
Oh
maybe
my
lost my
bad.
train of thought. Damn, maybe I really had a good train of thought going.
Damn, my
So,
bad, bro.
nah, it's fine. It's fine. What I'm saying is, I can understand why women will make attempts because there's just things that they go through in life where I could understand why. Because like I have a friend who
What?
I'm
I'm
not saying
sorry.
she's making. I'm not. Oh, he made a comment. I wasn't looking. My eyes was closed.
Yeah, it was two comments.
He said, "Oh,
So
she said
I
we
was
are
said,
stronger." Yeah, y'all stronger because that's exactly. That's what I'm saying. I agree with what she's saying. They're stronger because they don't really go through the rape. Oh, about the rape. Oh, he probably talking about me.
who? Chef Dennis?
Me. He said it's a bad example. He probably was talking about me.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. But go ahead. Say what you
No,
say
because
before you forget.
it was the way that the question was going. That's the reason why. But because the reason why they don't pull through with it. She said they're stronger mentally because
Oh God. Go keep going. Chef Dennis want me to bring him in, so I'm gonna invite him in. But keep talking. I'm gonna invite him in so he can say what he wants to say.
all right.
He-
So how should I put it? So I have like women go through a lot more stuff emotionally than us men. Yes, they're able to hold it, but think about the emotional
right.
capacity. Think about it, women are more emotional. Think about the level of emotional capacity that they
That's
have to deal
true.
with. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think
So, you know
any real man's gonna disagree with that. So
what I'm saying?
that's true.
So think about what they got to go through in life. Now, like I said, it could be a plethora of things. You know what I'm saying? It could be a plethora of things that they're going through, but I can understand why women will make more attempts than men, but don't go through it because they understand that the thought is there. But us men, sometimes we just feel like it's just, yo, we ain't got nothing left. I'm out.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
right. So yeah. So he's going to join eventually, right? But we're gonna push forward until he come in, right?
Right.
So to me, right? To me, I feel as though men lack more self-control than females, right? I don't think we have self-control like females do. I think that females just have more self-love and discipline than men. That's just honestly how I feel.
I agree with you.
Um, so not saying you and I, right? But as a whole, when we talk about friends, right? Do we really lift each other up? Do we really pray for each other? Do we really want the best for one another? That's it, you know?
That's a question.
Yes.
Depends on how close you are.
All right.
It's
Well,
no, no,
all right.
it's no, no, no. It's sad to say that, but it depends on how close you are,
Well,
because
I'm
we,
saying as a whole, really though. But
as
I
a
get what
whole,
you're
are you
saying.
saying as a whole? I
Yeah,
mean,
the men. I'm talking about men as a whole. Like, yeah, do we
listen, put it like
really
this.
lift each other up? Do we really pray
Now
for each other? Do we?
you're saying as friends or just men in general, or just people in general?
No, not people. Men in general, right? Like because don't forget how we're brought up and how we're trained or how we're taught by our fathers, right? Like, do we really do those things?
Do we lift other people up?
Yes. No. As men, do we lift another man up? If you say this man is my friend, do you lift that other man up? Do you pray for that man? Do you want the best for that man? That's what I'm getting at. Not
I
women, not everybody, just man to man. If
personally,
you
yeah,
say this, you say yeah.
yeah.
All right, so
Now,
I think you're an
like I said,
exception.
it depends on the perception of the person.
Right.
Like if you use me, I pray for every man that I'm around, regardless if we're friend or foe.
But all right,
You
as a
know,
whole, as a black
as a
man,
as a black
as
man,
black men, do we do that? Because I don't think we do.
no, we don't.
And that's
Because
where it goes. Go
because you
ahead.
go back to what you were saying, money's respect power.
Mm-hmm.
What you think us? What you think we always? What you think? Matter of fact, what we was growing up to. What you think
Right.
the movies that we watch, the music we listen to, all that stuff we listen to, money, power, respect. So we all trying to get to the we trying to be that top nigga. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's
And
as men, we trying to be that top man. You
and
know what I'm
that's what I'm
saying?
saying. Like when I say we don't, and as a black community, is black, in the average black household, we don't train or teach our kids properly, right? Because you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. See, when I say carefree, white people are really carefree. They don't care. They don't care about rhythm. They don't care about nothing. They just live life. They just joyous. They could wear every color of rainbow and don't match. And to
Mhm.
them, it's okay. But black people are like, oh, look at these corny motherfuckers. And black people as a whole, we got to get past that shit. We have to come together. I think that black people are the only culture, the only race that don't come together. I really truly
That's a
believe that.
fact. That's a fact, bro. Look at all the communities. You have the
We
Jewish
got to
community.
change that somehow.
It's so funny. Me and my fiance were just talking
They
about that.
sit together.
Look at the Jewish community. They all stick together. They might not like one another, but what they try to do is keep the money in the community. Look at the Asian people.
Right.
We don't know if they like each other, but they try to
Right.
keep that money in the community. Look at the Indian people. Look at other cultures. They all try to keep their money in their community. Us as black people, it's like we are trying, but I just feel like we're just going about it the wrong way. And it goes back to your question: is like, are we trying to help the next man? But sometimes,
Right.
are we really trying to help the next man? Like
As
what
as
you're
a
doing,
black, no, I don't think so.
like what you're doing right now, you're giving people information on how to become better. That's you
Right.
helping the next man out by whatever
Right.
information you're providing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Regardless if they decide to take it or not, but you're trying to help uplift that next man.
Right. Now, I know Chef Dennis just joined, but I want to say this first before you say anything. Like, I feel like, communication in the black community, right? I feel like that's the key ingredient that's missing. If we spend more time communicating, checking in with each other, uplifting each other, right? Checking on their mental health and their well-being, right? I think that in the black community, we'd be better off, right? Because if you think, like you just said, every other community or every other ethnicity or race, they're doing that already. The black community is the only one that's not. So if we adapt to what they're doing, right? It's a saying: if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So it's not broke for them. Why is it broke for the black community? Why? That's crazy.
Mm.
So as blacks, if we come together and we look at each other as equal, right? Like, and we all for the betterment of the black civilization, we
You'll be
can't go wrong, right?
you'll
So
be a
let me
force.
tell you this. So Chef Dennis, my brother,
because you have to, and that comes from being able to be in tune with yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. So
mm,
that's how it begins. And I heard you say earlier about crying. See, you got to understand. Listen, we cry from emotion sometimes, and it's okay to do that as a man, because guess what, you in tune with your emotions, you in tune with understanding that, guess what, I'm strong enough to cry, and I'm not weak where somebody see me crying, they accept it, or they see it as weakness, they see it as what's wrong. You know what I mean?
mhm,
It depends on where you're crying, the purpose of your crying, because we cry with happiness. It does, so crying is not a sign of weakness, because when my daughter graduated from high school, guess what? I was emotional. When she graduated out of elementary and going to high school, I was happy. So my tears was tears of joy, not
Mhm.
tears of sadness. So see, and that's once you understand that, then you don't have to worry about the fact of somebody seeing you cry and say,
Mhm.
"Oh, you weak." You understand that, because
mm,
guess what? Joy is something that's deeper than just visual. It's a feeling inside that comes out no matter what. You can't hide that. So you have to be understanding to that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I agree with him 100%.
And then we talk about, we talk about, you talk about uh us becoming stronger as Black people. First of all, we have to get past the you're doing better than me. So because you're doing better than me, that I can't encourage you. You got to receive the encouragement and say, you know what? This person is coming from a place of encouragement. It's coming from a place of uplifting. It's coming from a place to trying to educate me, not to bring me down. See, some people don't know how to receive that. They think, oh, because I'm here, I can't teach you. No, there's a purpose for everybody. So in that purpose, and I'm speaking to my brother, because I heard him, he got me emotional. Let me tell you something. This is a live broadcast, and I say this to the world, not to make myself look good. Listen, there is a reason why, and that's not to boast and brag, because guess what? I want to see you succeed. I want you to grasp on how it is to love unconditionally. So I say this to you is that, guess what? Sometimes we got to go through things so we can understand why we go through it, why we went through it. And that's to build you up stronger. Not to say the next person doesn't love you. It's to build you up stronger, because guess what? The next storm that comes, trust me, if you don't understand all the storms that you've been through and you're here now, then you guess what? When the biggest storm comes, you're not going to be able to withstand it. So the things that you've been through in life is to build you up stronger. Don't look at the people, the storms and the adversity that you hear now. Guess what? That's what you came through the storm, and now you're here. And guess what? You have people in your life now to show you, listen, it's a better way. And not only a better way, it's a better life on the other side. Not a life of sadness, not a life of misery. It's a life of happiness. And sometimes you got to be willing to accept the advice that somebody give you. But the advice that a person is giving you, you got to realize that, guess what? It's coming from a place of encouragement. And you have to value that, and say, when you value that, you look at that and you say, man, I never looked at it like that. Let me step back and look at it from a different perspective. That's not mine. It's somebody else that I value. It's somebody else that I trust. It's somebody that I believe that they want to see me succeed, not fail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how, once you change that mindset, you'll begin. Because for me, I'm always supporting, because guess what? When I'm least expecting, people are supporting me. I don't know who supports me, but guess what? Because I'm a supportive person, people are supporting me. And that's how you get back what you put out. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
And you know how they say what goes around comes around. So the energy that you put out in the world, guess what? It comes back to you. And that's why it's about loving people, showing happiness. And I'm never going to change with that. For me, is that I'm a hugger. I like to touch people, women or men. It don't make a difference, because I am comfortable with myself to not even worry about that. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? So that's the energy that I put out. And guess what? I get it back. Right. You know, when I'm feeling down, somebody say, D, you okay? You're not yourself. And it's not that I'm frowning. It's not that I'm mad. They look at me and say, yo, something different about you. You're not the same D that you always be, just talking and laughing and loud. I'm loud in a good way, not loud in a bad way. I'm loud because I want people not to see me. They understand where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place of happiness, joy, and I want to spread that all over.
Right.
I just want to break that down. Like, I ain't want to come on, because I just came. I want to come on, but I want to jump in a conversation with you guys too while I'm at work.
Yeah. Listen, it's all good. Look, listen, while you on, right?
No, I love it.
I want to say this. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just to speak on that, I said, listen, I love everything you said, because that's exactly how I am. You know what I'm saying? That's how you have to be in life. Like, and
this like I said, this is a safe place, right? Like, fuck it. This is how niggas should be. We should be able to come together. When I say niggas, like, I'm not gonna get into the word nigga. None of that.
We're talking about brothers.
Exactly.
We all know.
Exactly. Yeah. That's another conversation. But so I want to say this. I feel like women communicate more than men, so they get the counseling that they need. Women are more resilient, and they have a higher emotional lottery. It's time for us men to get on their level. What do y'all feel about that?
Go ahead, brother. I'll let you, Andrew. I'll let you go ahead. I'm gonna check that out. Go ahead.
Go
All
ahead.
right. I agree. And I'm going to tell you why I agree. You ever hear that saying that women are more mature than men?
Yes, they mature faster than men. Yes, 3 years. They say that's been scientifically proven. Yes,
That's
and
the reason.
I hold up before you say anything. Listen, my daughter, I got 3 sons and a stepson, and and one daughter. The 4 boys, they couldn't hold their head. My daughter, she could hold her head. You pick her up, she like this. My son say was like, we will wobble. Say, you now you got to support them because you like, I don't want them to break their neck. My daughter, she like this.
Hey,
So I feel like it's true that they mature faster than men. I believe that because how is that possible?
hey, I want to.
What did you say, Jeff?
Des, I want to correct you on something.
Yeah.
And see, this where it starts at right here. What you just said. You said something, and see, you never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. Stop saying that's your stepson. That's your son. I'm gonna tell you why.
He said,
because,
all right.
And that's not this. And see, this where it starts at right here. With
I agree.
That was the correction.
Hold on. Bro, hold on. What'd you say, Drew?
No, I agree with Chef. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he was about to say, it's not a correction. He's not trying to this with it. You have to understand if this is somebody that is you are taking care of and you look as your son, take the word step out of it. That's your son.
That's it. I'm gonna tell you why. Because look, at the end of the day,
blood or not blood, that is your child. Look, you are providing for that child.
That's coming from 2 men. So you know what? From now on, I promise I'll change that. I'll start saying I got
I'm
4 sons.
I'm not a dad yet, but when I have friends who are like stepdad, I'm like, yo, bro, stop calling him your stepson. That is not your stepson. That's your son. You're feeding him, right? Yeah. You're clothing him, right? Yeah. You're taking him out and doing all the things as a father would, right? That's your son. It doesn't. Being a father doesn't have to be blood.
And I'm gonna show you something. He, at the end of the day, he is a man, right? And he wants to be loved unconditionally. So I don't call my stepson. I never did. I never had. And the why I have not, because guess what? When I married his mother, I took on her children as well. They're mine. And guess what? I'm going to war for them. And I promise you, they grown. They 26, 29, and 20. Okay, they know that I mean what I say, and I tell them, I said, I'm going to war for you. I said, yo, y'all my kids now. I said, there's no your stepdad. You could call me that, but I don't see that, because guess what? And you know what? They respect me, they love me. I could hug them, and they grown. I could hug all of them, and they grown, because you know what? That's what I put out there. I show that I'm real passionate about it, because guess what? I know I'm speaking from a place where it can be real detrimental to a child, a young man, a young adult. It can be detrimental that you're not giving that unconditional love. And sometimes they need that, because let's say their father or their mother not in their life. They need that love. They're looking for. You did say that earlier before, didn't you say that, brother? Des?
Yeah, I did.
And that's what happens. They look for that, because the person that they look for not there. So now here it is, somebody else trying to fill that void and trying to give them something. And when you do that, I promise you, it comes back to you, and you'll be so happy that they're doing that for you. And you have your own biological kids, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I said, it's totally different. My son is in college, and guess what? He used to call me Sir Dennis. He don't call me that no more. That's a relationship.
I wouldn't like that. Like my son.
It's so respect.
If he say sir, I'll be like, you don't have to do that. Like I don't like that.
When I tell you he's proper like that. But guess what? The point that I was making is that look at our relationship. It has grown. Now he calls me. Look, he called me his stepfather. I'm okay with that. That for me, I won't say my stepson. And guess what? As he grow older, as he become a man, he'll realize that everything I ever done, everything I ever said was to make him a better
Better.
man, and a better father, that he doesn't have biological that should be there like me. And
So
that's okay.
so let me ask you this. So the last thing I said women communicate more than men, right? Meaning woman to woman, right? Um, so therefore, if women communicate with women to women more than men, they're getting that counseling that they need, right? So being that men don't do that from man to man to man, the question I'm gonna ask both of y'all, and I don't know which one of y'all want to talk first. How do you think that we get there as men, as far as communication from man to man?
Jeff, you want to go?
Do,
Yeah, but well, you said women are more emotional, right?
But yeah, but what I'm saying is, I said they're more emotional. We all agree with that. But I said they get the counseling that they need because guess what? When women are going through something, they guess what they do? They go to other women and they
And,
talk. That's counseling. But men
uh,
don't go to another man for counseling. They don't talk about their problems. How many times you go to another man and say, "Oh, I'm going through this." Da, da, da." We don't do that.
all
We
right, we
don't do
do.
that.
You have to no.
Some. I'm talking about
Okay.
overall. Overall,
Over
men don't do that.
because let me tell you something. The reason, all right, first let me say about the women. The women are nurturers, so that's a natural characteristics that they have. So guess what? They
And
are in
and
tune with themselves automatically, whether they've been hurt or not. Look, they already in tune. They already they already are sympathetic. They already are people or women. They are already natural caring. They have that gene inside them already. That's what
Automatic.
they got
so,
that gene.
but that's what I'm
So of
saying.
course they're gonna be able to
But that's what I'm
communicate better.
saying. Hold on. But that's what I'm saying. They communicate better than we as men do. So
I,
they're getting that therapy. They're getting that counseling. Men are we lack therapy. We lack counseling. And then when you bring up the topic of counseling, maybe you should do therapy. We look at it like we shun it. We say, hell no, I ain't no punk. I ain't no
eh,
pussy. That's how
but
men
no,
look at it. But just think
because
about it.
look,
If we do the same that women do, I feel like we would be better off. There's a
wait,
comment
D,
coming
you
in.
got look, okay.
We hold on. What did it say? Men don't
Want
want
to
to
talk
speak
about their
about their
problem.
problems. That's true. That's what I'm saying. Men, well, that's how we was raised. We don't want to talk about our problems. So therefore, that's where the women have the advantage.
So you have to look. We could certain men have to surround themselves with the right men. That's where it starts at. You got to surround yourself with the right men. Once you surround yourself with the right men, then you can go to them and talk about it. Because guess what? You don't think that women just go to other women and just talk to them. No, they find the right women that they could talk to, that could relate, that could understand what they're going through. They're not just going to any woman and saying, you know what, girl, such and such did this, my boyfriend did that. No, so that's the same thing we got to do as men. We got to find the right men so we can talk to. You got to be able to trust the person you can talk to. Women just don't talk to any women about their problems.
Hell no.
They don't do that. They have to first they have to trust that person that they're talking to. So then once they do that, then they're talking about their problems. And then you got to think about this. All men, including myself, sometimes we can be stubborn when it comes down to communicating with men because guess what? We sometimes we could be bullheaded. All men
It's
to
a
be bullheaded, and it takes time and it takes understanding that you know what. I want to grow. When you have that mindset that you want to grow, guess what? That bullness, that stubbornness, it goes out the window. So now you're open to receive the education on how to make yourself better. You know what I'm saying? And how you going to grow. And that's why in the world we have men's ministry, we have all these type of things because guess what? Those men that were broken are there.
Right.
They're better in themselves. They're communicating because guess what? You can show my name is Dennis. Guess what? There were things that I've gone through that I will be able to help other men navigate through how to be a better husband, how to be more passionate, how to be more understanding. And I didn't understand that women are very emotional before. I know now. I be like, I don't tell
Because
them.
That's growth
I
and
don't tell you that
maturity.
because I know
That's
now,
growth.
huh?
That's growth and maturity, right?
That,
Let me say this. Let
yeah,
me say this. Let me say this. Men have a lot of aggression, right? And as a whole, I'm not saying you, Drew,
no, I got you.
or me, right? Like men, we just don't know how to release that aggression, right? We need to talk more, right? We need to just talk without feeling like we're being judged or judgmental. And once we are able to talk freely without having that thought process where somebody's going to judge me being weak or saying that I'm not a real man. Once we get past that, we will be better off, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Of course, yeah, you're right. We'd be ready. Go ahead, Andrew. I see you on. Yeah,
No. Listen, I'm just learning, guys. Like Chef, you just saying some stuff because one, y'all both are two men who are fathers. So it's like just hearing y'all guys speak, it teaches me. It also empowers me, like hearing y'all speak, especially as fathers and as men. And going back to your question about aggression, I mean, yeah, because it's just how we're built. You understand? We're alpha. You know what I'm saying? We're built as alpha
Alpha,
males, and it
yes,
goes back to where it's like, yeah, we don't like to talk to another man because we don't want another show another man that we're weak. But
right.
that's a problem, though. You know what I'm saying?
It
Because
is a problem.
how can that's the reason I want to go back to what I said earlier. And Chef did said it. It depends on the person you're talking to. That's why I said you could talk to like if you're talking to another man, you could talk to that guy, the person you grew up with, your brother that you grew up with, that close friend you grew up with that knows you, that knows everything that you've been through. At the same time, they can't be a coddler. They can't be somebody who coddles. You got to be that person who's real with you. You got to be that person who's really going to tell you what it is. If it's somebody who's just like, well, don't worry, nah, that's not really the person you want to talk to. You want to talk to the person who's going to tell it to you how it is. Because that's how I like. Anytime somebody talks to me, I just tell them how it is. You know what I'm saying? I try not to coddle because what's the purpose of me coddling it? To save your feelings?
Right.
Yeah, but no, because if I save your feelings, you're just gonna. It's just
You're not going
like
to
you
grow
said
from
earlier.
it.
You're just putting a band-aid. You're just putting a band-aid over that instead of
Right.
just
Right.
healing the situation. Let them understand what the situation is about.
Right.
And I just feel like us as men, like, yeah, we do need to talk together more. We do. Like, women can talk. Yes, like you said it perfectly. They're nurturers. It's just an automatic thing. You see another woman crying, what's the matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up?
Right.
Like, how are you feeling? And they're not afraid to express their feelings, because here's one thing all
Right.
us people want is somebody to listen. The problem is that
Right.
most people don't want to listen. The moment you have somebody who wants to
Well,
listen, you're going to divulge all your information. Especially if, well, it depends on the
well.
situation, depends on the information, but you're gonna talk.
So this thing, this is the thing. Women are more inclined to listen to women. Men are not inclined to listen to men. That's facts, and that's what I'm saying. As a whole, we need to change that, right?
We do.
Let me circle back to what we were talking about earlier, right? Let me ask you a question: is mental illness a gateway to suicide? And that's a question, both of y'all. Is mental illness a gateway to suicide?
It depends, because
I think it depends as well too.
All right, so look, so do they correlate, right? Right? Do they connect with one another, or is it two separate entities?
I think it's all right. Chef,
ahead.
you go ahead. You go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear this.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Because y'all preaching.
first of all, suicide is a mental thing, right?
Yes.
So
Well,
it comes.
Okay, go ahead. I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead.
No. It's a lot of factors that play a part in that. You know what I'm saying? We can't just elaborate on that because we're talking about how we think about it. Because you really have to know the dynamics of the individual. Because a lot of people, you know, are hurting on the inside that we can't even understand because that's their feeling. So we don't. It's mental, because guess what? What saddens you may not saddens me. So you got to really think about that. And when you say suicide, because guess what? It's a mental thing. You know, you lose your mind and you're not thinking clearly. Your mind is altered. So because your mind is altered, you're not doing the logical thing. Your mind is altered. So that's a slippery slope to even begin to talk about. Because listen, some people commit suicide, like men commit suicide. Some have committed suicide through a relationship, and the woman had cheated on him. The three of us would sit and say, I would never do that. But see, that's what
we don't know what that person going through.
You don't know.
I love my life too much. Yeah.
No, D. I'm no me and you. I know I wouldn't, and I know you say the same thing.
No,
right?
I wouldn't. But what you said,
That's all
we
three
don't
of us.
know
Yeah.
that person is going through. We don't know the demons that they're dealing with.
Exactly. So because listen, I don't look, and we ain't talking real spiritual, so we're not gonna get there.
Oh
right?
my God.
But
Yeah, we're not talking that.
No. I said, D, we're not gonna get there. But no, just think about this. When a person commits suicide, they have lost their mental capacity to even think that if they have children, it will trickle down and destroy anything that they have coming after that. Because I'm in high school, I've seen that happen. A young man had everything going for himself. Huh?
You said high school?
A young man we went to high school with, listen, had everything, was graduating honors and everything, right? Had 2 children. You know, he hung himself. I'm talking about valedictorian, everything, straight A's, had a full ride scholarship to one of the best schools there are for law, right? Hung himself in front of his 2 daughters. So see, what we see may be like, whoa, and the first thing we all said was, how can he do that? He had everything going for himself. I'm talking about full ride scholarship. He didn't have to worry about nothing.
Because all we see was on the outside.
Right.
That's it. So that's what I mean. We don't know what caused that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, like I said, you look at that and you be like, wow, how could he do that? And not only did he do it, he did it in front of his 2 daughters that were old enough to understand that why my dad do this.
That's deep.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's deep, yeah.
And
now guess what? Look, by him doing that,
traumatized.
His daughters have a lifetime of pain that they're gonna have therapy for the rest of their life. Even if they get into a marriage or relationship, they're gonna have therapy for the rest of their life.
Because now, guess what? With that happening, they witnessing that, it's just gonna trigger where they're gonna be more worried about their husbands, and they'll be like, "Damn, I hope like now it's gonna." And damn, son.
It triggers.
It sets a snowball effect through through generation, because now you have those daughters who's going to be like, all right, my husband, but they're going to be so more worried about their husband and be so inclined. I'm like, what's going on? Which is fine to an extent, because you don't want to overbear your husband with what's going on with them, because then it's like, what the hell? I'm fine. But then again, it's like, no, you know what I've been through, their trauma and stuff like that. And it's like, it's a big snowball effect. It's like, it's just a big snowball effect. I can just see it happening.
So as we talk about mental illness, right? Mental illness is anything or any time the mind, heart, or spirit is incongruent, right? It's when we have an internal conflict. It's disruption on the internal landscape. It's a mental imbalance, right? It's wounds and hurts that never been acknowledged, right? Like, in my opinion, right? Like, so when we talk about mental illness, right? If you have wounds, if you have these feelings that haven't been acknowledged, meaning like you haven't had that therapy. We talked about therapy. If you haven't had that therapy, if you haven't expressed this or your thoughts or your feelings to somebody else and they counsel you, if that's what I was saying, like counseling, therapy is important. White people, Asian people, everybody but blacks, they welcome that. But blacks, for some reason, they say therapy is weak, counseling is weak. But if you get counseling, right, and you understand who you are, how you feel, and how you can come out of that, because you can't come out of a situation, you can't better a situation if you don't understand the situation that you're in. Do the both of you agree with that?
I mean, I do because I know that therapy helps because you know what therapy does for most people.
Right.
People, I didn't say just black people.
Yeah.
Guess
Yes.
what? When you got the right therapist, right? They are a neutral party that guess what? That can relate and correlate to what you're going through. They by
Well,
the way you talk, by the way
well,
you walk.
well, well. Somebody that goes to work every day, show up to work, and they care about their job, then yes. But a lot of people care about a paycheck. So you will get those people that say, "Oh, I'm I'm employed by whatever company, and all I gotta do is X, Y, Z, and to get this paycheck." They don't care, but they go through the motions
No,
to
yeah.
pretend. So it's the
Wait,
people that can really relate. Those are the people you should hold there. When you have a
No,
counselor that when you speak to them, you be like, damn, they must have went through trauma in their life. Those are the people that people can relate to.
but
If you can't relate to somebody, you're not gonna listen to them. Period.
but
no,
here's the one thing. Wait, I'm sorry, not to
not good, good, Drew.
the reason why I said, remember what I said earlier. You don't have to necessarily go to a therapist to get therapy.
Mm.
If you have somebody that's been in your corner or know who you are, and then I said this earlier, sometimes we can be our own therapist because we already know our own answers to our problems. The
I,
problem is the problem
I
is
don't. No, I don't. No, I disagree with that.
No, I
The
don't.
reason,
I agree with what he was saying.
and I'm about to
Let him.
tell you why.
Hold on, chef. Let him finish first, then you chime in.
Got you. Yeah. Go ahead.
all right. The reason why I say that people know the answers to their own problems is because we already instinctively we already know the answers to our problems. Is the problems we allow our emotions to choose otherwise, and that's why people choose the wrong path. Like, think about it. Like, have you ever been in a situation where you're like, you know what, like instinctively you know what to do,
Right.
but because you think too much, you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. But then you allow your emotions to just let you deter your actual what you're supposed to do.
And I feel like
Now,
women do that all the time because they built on emotion. I think everything do in life is built on emotion, which is a rash decision. So I follow you so far. Go ahead.
so in a way, that's the reason why I feel like us as human beings, as people, I really feel that, like I feel like we have our own answer. It's just sometimes we do need other people to help bring it out. I just know that God has ingrained the answers in us, because you ever had you put yourself in that problem, you can get yourself out of it.
Yes.
And then sometimes there's problems that you didn't put yourself in.
Right.
Sometimes you might need help getting out of it.
Right.
But we are intellectually enough to know, and I'm not gonna say everybody. I would say a good few people can get out of that problem themselves, but everybody do needs help with everything. Everybody do need help. But go ahead, Chef.
So when I said I disagree about the therapy thing, why I said I disagree with that is because you first, to get to that point, to acknowledge the person that's trying to give you that advice, you have to grow to understand, can this person give you advice? Can they you speak to them so they can understand you? So before you get to that, how do you get to that point? You know what I'm saying? Someone has to train you how to be able to communicate that with that other person. You know what I'm saying? We have 5 brothers, right? It's 5 of us. Well, it's 5 of us, 4 brothers. It's 5 of us, right? And guess what? If I never been through certain things, I could never advise my brother about being a father.
True.
I can never advise him on marriage if I never been married. We could talk. I can give so what I think, but that's opinion. But you can't even begin to talk to somebody if you never walk in those shoes. You understand what I'm saying? No one can tell you how to be a father if they've never been a father. What I can lead, what I can give you is the blueprint of how I've become a father, how I've learned how to be a father. But me telling you how to be a father, no. Guess what? I'm a man. I can teach you how to be a man because I'm a man. But I can't teach you how to be a father if I don't have any children to father. You understand me? I can only show you how to be a man. You know, how to stand straight up, how to hold your head up. I'm just giving an example. These are things I can want to show you. And so when you talk about therapy, if you have, first of all, like that's why if you, I don't know, I mean, you don't, you said you don't have children. That's like when you go to a therapist, right? And you have to talk to them first, because they have to be suitable for you. You have a conversation with them, and you open up a dialogue with them, and then you'll be able to say, okay, I want this person to therapy. It's a lot of things you have to ask questions about that therapist to say, okay, yeah. Like me, me and my wife had therapy before, right? Marriage counseling. Outside of, before, after we got married, we decided we wanted to do that, right? And there were things that I've learned through that to make me better, right? The one thing that I wanted the therapist to have, just like I wanted them to be a Christian therapist, because they're going to speak from a spiritual aspect, not just a personal, not just something I'm educated and now I'm going to talk about that. No, that's not, because now we on the same ground. That's the foundation. So that being that that's the foundation, guess what? We're going to start there. Now I can respect them enough to say they're going to give me the honest truth about what they say. And one thing I want to share with you is this: what I've learned going to therapy was this: is my delivery.
So you've been through therapy too, right?
Yes, multiple.
Even through marriage counsel and everything.
Yeah, okay. But outside of that, I've been through a divorce too, so I had to go to counseling, because guess what? My first divorce, I was messed up. I didn't want to get into no relationship, and I didn't recover from that. I didn't get the right healing, so I went through therapy for that too, because I was messed up. But
so it's crazy, because we blood related, we brothers, and I never knew that. I know you going through therapy now, but I didn't know that it preceded your current situation. I did not know that.
Yeah, because when I went through my first divorce, I was going out to strippers, I was going out to clubs, I was getting drunk, I was doing everything because my mind wasn't right. But I never got into a relationship. And I'm gonna share this with you. Now I gotta get back in this kitchen. But look, this is what one thing I want to share with y'all. I'm very transparent. The one thing that would mess me up was because that was the first person I really fell in love with. I'd never been in a relationship before. You know what I'm saying? I dated, I had sex with different women, but I never
a relationship or a serious relationship. Which one was it?
Marriage. I got married with Maria.
No, he's talking about his first marriage.
That was my first marriage and first serious relationship.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. Okay,
real. Like I got Jalen, but that wasn't a relationship. I was in a long-term relationship with her, got married, and guess what? It ended. And man, it took a toll on me. So you know what I'm saying? That's why I said therapy is real good, because the people that advised me, the people that gave me advice, they gave me advice not because they were sympathizing with my situation. They were saying what was supposed to be said. And at first I didn't hear it. First I didn't receive it. But then once I received it, guess what? It's like a click. I understood. And I say this, there were things I had to go through to understand it more clearly as well. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, y'all continue. I'm gonna be listening, but I gotta get in this kitchen, so I gotta get
it's been great, man.
Yes.
Great meeting, man.
Andrew.
You.
AD.
Yeah.
Let him know about my podcast too. You know what it's at.
You know the thing about it, we're all cooks.
Yeah, that's the thing. He said we all cooks. We all in the restaurant industry. Listen.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Andrew.
Tell him where you can find you at.
Huh?
Tell Drew where he can find you at.
Oh, yeah.
Just text it, bro. Just text it to me.
I can text you. I just
text it to me.
Text to him. But look, I want to say this to you, Drew. Drew, I'm not a cook, homie. I'm a chef.
Oh my God! Here we go. Hey,
listen.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna get with y'all. AD, I'll talk to y'all later. All right, man. Listen, keep the good work up. Hey, man, listen, I'm here. You know, I'm always supporting, so I'll be still watching. I'll talk to y'all later. Be blessed.
Appreciate it. Be blessed. Love you.
Love you too.
Nah, he's mad
cool. Yeah, man. He
I
cool.
I love his mindset. No, I love his mindset. Like he got a really, really good
that's
mindset.
my brother. That's my older brother, right? But like sometimes it shit get convoluted, right? Right? Like he feel like just because he's the oldest, he's the most knowledgeable, and we should always follow his lead. So it's 5 of us, right? He feel like it's his way or the highway, and sometimes it's not the high. Like we're not gonna get into that. Love him to death though. We bump heads all the time.
It's always gonna be like
It
that.
be times that we don't talk for like 2 weeks at a time, but then we always find each other, right? And that's love, and that's what family is all about, right? So that's neither here nor there. We're gonna get back to the subject, right? So look, so I want to say this. I was listening to a podcast, right?
Mhm.
And somebody asked, "Do you want to die, or do you want to start, or do you want to stop hurting?" Right? What do you get out of that?
Do you
Before I
want to
say
die? Do you
anything.
want to stop hurting?
Yeah, because a lot of people that's going through depression and they can't cope with things, right? And they be like, "Oh, I don't want to live no more," right? So this is the thing. In watching this podcast, somebody said, "Do you really want to die, or do you really want to stop hurting?" What are your thoughts on that before I say anything?
Do you really want to die or really want to stop hurting? The real question is that they like people who feel like they want to die, they don't really want to die. They just want to stop the pain. That's what it is.
That's what I mean. So when a person said, "Do you want to die or do you want to stop hurting?" That's exactly what you just said. Exactly what they're trying to say. You don't want to die, really. You just want the pain to go away.
Stop.
You want to stop hurting. Yes, right. So you know what I'm saying. I feel like let me get my thoughts together. I feel like I feel like people hurt because they don't know how to live properly. That's how I feel. I feel like, yeah, if you don't know how to live properly, that's when you sit there and say to yourself, "I just want to die," because you don't know how to live properly. Well, like you have to love yourself before anything. And once you understand that, once you grasp that concept, and you love yourself more than anything. I don't think nobody truly want to die. They just don't want to deal with the pain, the trials. They don't want to go through the tribulations. None of that. So once you understand that life wouldn't be life without trials and tribulations. Once you understand that life is not easy. Once you understand that, like, all right, you be like, I want to live. I just don't want to go through that. And then once you sit there and say, you acknowledge that, you be like, I want to live, but I just don't want to get deal with the heartaches or the setbacks or the trials and tribulations. Once you understand that, now it's up to you to sit there and plan or think about, what can I do to better myself? What can I do to not think about the negativity and focus on the positivity? That's how I feel.
So with that, what I would say with that, the first thing I would say is seek God.
God. So let me ask you before you say anything else. So are you religious?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Oh, you are. All right. See, that's what mean you different. Let's just listen.
But wait.
Go ahead.
Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean, just because I said seek God doesn't mean it has to be Christian. It could be whatever religion. Right. Seek God first. Seek your deity. Why? Because that person would show you the path of where you want to go. That's what you want to do. You need to seek something that if you look at God as something as positivity, seek that first. And the next step is, I would say, is sit down and meditate to yourself on, because sometimes a lot of us, we need to learn how to meditate. We need to learn how to sit back and just
reflect.
We think about like how many thoughts per second we think about crazy amount of thoughts per second. So many things go through our brains on a daily basis. And what we need to do is learn how to just sit down in peace and just get our thoughts together and then plan. So it's okay to start over. See, a lot of people are afraid to start over. A lot of people are afraid to say, stop. You know what? Let me stop what I'm doing. Let me just start over. Because when you start over, you can plan from scratch. And if that mess up, start over again. start over again. See, the reason why people say they don't want to die, they just want to stop the pain, or I think it was vice versa. They rather die, or like, do you want to die? Do you don't want the pain to go away? Nobody, like I said, nobody wants to die. They just want the pain to go away. But the problem is they need to seek help on how to get rid of the pain, and that goes back to counseling. That goes back to counseling, on talking to who you need to talk to help you get through that counseling. But at the same time, it's okay to start. It's okay to start over.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? It's okay to start over. You know, because a lot of people just don't want to start. I know I'm sounding redundant. It's just I feel like that's the first thing that you want to do. Scratch the first plan. Start with a new plan. Because when you start with a new plan, you're starting a new path.
Ooh.
And that new path.
That's heavy.
You know what I'm saying? That new path would lead you to somewhere that you probably would want to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It opens, and it wants to open a new door. Like, I just feel like just start over. But go ahead.
Right. So I was waiting for you to finish. So I'm gonna say this. I feel like men lash out because of ache, right? Heartache, ache is ache. When I say ache, I mean pain, right? Yeah. I think men lash out because of pain.
ACHE?
Yeah. ACHE, yes. Men lash out because of ache, trauma, dysfunction, neglect, self-hatred, right? We are all responsible for the energy that we bring to the room, right? As men, we are not as vulnerable as we should be, right? And I think you said something about that earlier. Like, I think men, because it's how fathers teach their sons not to be vulnerable, not to be weak, not to be soft, not to be sympathetic, right? But I think that's where we go wrong as men. I think men are not as vulnerable as they should be. You know, what do you think?
We're not as vulnerable because we're not groomed that way.
Yeah, yes.
From birth, we haven't really been groomed that way. But here's the crazy part. Technically, we should be. Why? Because we're raised by our moms too.
That's why I said. So yesterday's podcast, you know what I said? I said mothers, women are the first teachers of civilization. I said that yesterday on yesterday's podcast. Women are the women and mothers are the first class of civilization, or first teachers of civilization, right? Yeah, because when men sit there and say that we don't learn shit from women, that's false. We learn everything from a woman. How to love, how to treat a woman. Because if it wasn't for women, we would not, as men, we would not know that. No. So we learn from a woman what women love, what women like, and we can. Let's think about the men that manipulate women. How can they manipulate if they don't understand women? We have to understand a woman, or have a basic understanding of women, to be able to manipulate. So we learn everything from a woman.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
I agree with you. Listen, that's the reason why. That's why when we go back to vulnerability, I said vulnerability. I said we should be able to, because we can't cry to our dads, but we could cry to our moms.
Right. So
we get our vulnerability out to our moms.
Right. Exactly. And which is a woman. But men don't look at it that way. When you talk women, we think about the person we with. We don't think about the first teachers of civilization, which is our mothers.
Mothers, yep.
We don't look at it that way. So look, let me say this. We have to forgive ourselves for all the things we feel like we did wrong. We have to celebrate our lives for the things. We have to celebrate our lives and do what brings us life, right? We have to stop. Hold on, my bad. I was reading.
You're good. Start over.
All right. So basically, we have to break it down. We have to stop. Worrying about how we was trained as men, as boys. We have to stop think about the father figure perspective. We have to think about the root of things, right? We have to treat women how women need to be treated, right? And that's the only way to be successful. I don't know. We got to look for the positivity instead of the wrongs. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
trials and tribulations, people, places, and things. That's what makes us who we are. You understand what I'm saying or no?
Mm-hmm.
Like people are quick to tell us all the wrongs that we have in our lives, but they never tell us about all the right
Positive.
things we're doing. Yeah, the positive things, right? So
Mhm.
when I say transition, like what comes to your mind when I say self transition? If I say what is self transition, what comes to your mind?
Self transition.
Yes.
Do you know how to change
Mm.
when it comes to any what a situation? Do you know how to change when it comes to situations? Like, can you transition is like, can you be in one room and be this person around a certain group around people? And can you
Mm.
be in another room and be this type of person? You got to be like a chameleon.
Right.
And
So
that's what it goes.
chameleon adaptation. That's
Yeah.
yeah, yes, exactly. So all right. So self transition, right? By definition, it's a state transition that starts and ends in the same state. It's when self transition occurs, the state in which we exit that like the state that we in and we re-enter it, right? It's about change at the end of the day. It's the process or period of changing from one state or condition to another. Basically, from my point of view, it's a reboot. It's a restart. It's all about starting fresh. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are afraid of that. But like when you start over, it's like you could chime in when you want to. I'm trying to break it down. It's like
Well, it's like what I said before. Remember when I said what I said earlier when I forgot the question you asked me, but when I told you that, you got to seek God first and then start over.
yeah, I heard you
So,
when you said that, but me personally, I'm not religious. I believe in a higher power. So when you said that, I
okay.
was like, when
Okay.
you said
Well,
seek
seeking
God, I
that
was
high.
like,
Okay. Okay. Well, seeking that higher power because that's
okay,
something you look up to. That's why I said it doesn't matter what religion or whatever case or what you believe in. Seeking that higher power, as in Napoleon would call it. Napoleon Hill would say, "Hey, listen, there's a higher power. Seeking that and then start over. Look to that."
right,
But people are afraid to start over because they're late because they're afraid that they may not be able to do it again. They
mm,
feel that maybe they had it right the first time. Where it's okay to do it again because if you did it before, you should be able to know how to do it again and do it better. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you was building a house, you was like, damn, I ain't do that right. All right, I gotta take this down. Because you found all the mistakes that you did prior. So now you can fix those mistakes and make that house look better. So
right.
the reason why people are just afraid to start over because I personally feel, and it's gonna sound crazy, people just lazy and scared.
I
Everybody wants it right the first time, and sometimes that happened with me. I'm not gonna sit here and like sometimes I'm like, damn, so I don't want to feel like doing that over. Like it's like when I'm playing PlayStation, when I'm playing this, like, damn, so I don't feel like doing this level all over again. But it's like,
mm,
you know what, I gotta do it because that's just how you grow. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn how to just if it's not working, try something else and start over. If that's not working, try something else
right.
and just start over.
So yeah, so this is the thing. We as people, or we as men, we have to learn how to function, like, and love, and get our own way. We gotta stop worrying about we need to start clouding our own minds, right? I'll say this again. Men need to stop being judgmental, right? It
Mm-hmm.
will drive it will drive us insane where we're not comfortable with who we are as a person. Like the more men think about how we're viewed or how like the perception of like how people view us, like the more we worried about that, the more confusion, the more uncomfortable we are as a person because now we're not being true to ourselves. We're worried about how everybody else view us. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm. So, and this is where it goes back to reading books and just reading self improvement books, being specifically.
Right.
if we us and we're talking about black men specifically, if
Right.
we learn how to stop worrying about what other people think about us,
Mm-hmm.
we will thrive so fast. You wouldn't even know how to handle it. We just have to
I
learn.
agree.
We just have to learn how to stop allowing what other people think about us. And sometimes it's not easy. It is not easy. Sometimes I fight with that. Sometimes I do fight with that. Like, damn, son. But I learned to say. But sometimes I'll be like, man, I don't really care. I'm just gonna do it, because at the end of the day, is what is your life has to do with mine. You know what I'm saying, what is you doing have to do with me. It's my life. I God gave me my life, and I'm going to choose what I got to do with it. And if I'm going to allow somebody's judgment of me to let me deter my mindset and what the higher power put into my mind to move with my life,
Right.
then that's what I'm going to do. But a lot of us are so afraid because we want to be cool. We want to look cool to people, but the problem is we're looking cool being broke.
Right.
And then that's the reasons why, because we're going through all these problems, because we're not focusing on the ways of how we're going to increase our income and put us in positions where we actually can be. Think about multimillionaires. You think they give it in?
No. They
Think
care
about
about their success and their development, their personal
exactly.
development.
They
Their
don't care. They don't care at all what other people think at all. But the problem is that, but here's the thing: sometimes as a community, they look at multimillionaires like, oh, this. Nah, they just learn to not care. The reason why they are where they are because they learn to not care what other people think about them, and that's the reason why they're able to thrive. And once you get that feeling out of there, nothing's gonna stop you.
Right. So let me ask you this: when I say self change, what comes to your mind?
Self change.
Yes.
Well, what do you change? Or you could be. Hold on, I gotta ponder on that one.
So, all right, while you ponder on that, right? I'm by definition, I'm gonna have to define this, right?
No, go
So it
ahead.
says self change, right? It's the process of intentionally making changes to oneself, such as one's thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and mindsets. These changes can lead to personal growth, fulfillment, right? And the realization of one's true potential. Self change can be uncomfortable. It can be an uncomfortable process, but it can be much easier if we do the certain things in life, right? Um, like let's get into that for a minute, right? So when we talk about self change, right? Like if we set goals for ourselves, right? Like setting goals for yourself is a fundamental part of self
Change.
initiated behavior and change, correct?
So yeah, absolutely. Because when you set goals, it's like self change is basically is literally said it all in definition. You know, when you set goals that help you go into the direction that you want to go in.
Right.
Now, when you change your goal, now you change your direction. Now, the direction, when you change your goal, you change the direction on where you're going with that goal. Now, it could be a higher goal, it could be a much better goal, but you're still changing that direction. Or you're going through that, or you may be going through that same direction, but you're going further, which is still another destination that you have to go through. Because I look at it like if you go into like like say you going up the block, but the goal is actually, but that was a destination. But let's say you say, no, I can go 2 blocks down. Now you just stretch your goal where you just increase your destination to go where you need to go to. Now, if you want to change your destination, say you want to do something else, then you just have to bust a left. You know what I'm saying? So it's like changing direction, self-change is always good because you are acknowledging what you want to do that's going to benefit your life better. That's how I look.
So, well, this thing, a lot of people are afraid to change. I've been hearing that my whole life, right?
Yeah.
But look, for as far as self-change, right? Another component to that is if you surround yourself with positive people, you'll be better off, right? Because those who love you and give off positive energy, they can inspire you to be better, right? And if they can inspire you to be better, guess what? That just builds on your self-confidence, all right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, because this is one thing I taught, you know, especially in like business and stuff like that. You got to think about the 5 people you hang around with. You know what I'm saying? If you're hanging around the 5 people,
you said the 5 people, okay.
If it could be 5, 10,
So
but
basically, you saying keep it tight. So basically,
it
what
doesn't
you're
have to
saying
be.
is keep a tight circle.
It's not necessarily keep it tight. It could be 5'10". The 5 people that's the closest to you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Depending on where they are, you're just going to be either just like them or worse. But if you hang yourself around 5 people that are much better than you, you know what I'm saying, that are in a much higher position than you, and not saying a position in a bad way, just a position in life, that's going to help stretch you to become better. Or if you're one of those people that says that's not willing to fight to get better, you're just going to go the opposite way and be like, I don't want to do that. So it depends on
Right.
who you are. If you're somebody who wants to change, put yourself around people that are in a better position than you, where you're going to grow to that. If you don't want to change, then just stay in the status quo that you're in. And I don't want to say it's okay, but everybody eats their own. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to
Right.
me, I'd rather be around people that's growing, that's going to help me grow, because at the end of the day, you want to be better when it comes to society. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to just being in
Right.
society, you want to be a better person.
Right. So another thing is, look, as far as self-development, self-aggression, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's about accepting change, right? Nothing in life is forever, and change is a natural part of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So look, sometimes we have to celebrate small accomplishments, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
when you celebrate small victories, it will keep you motivated on your ultimate goal, right? Do you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes people don't want to celebrate the small victory because they'll be like, oh yeah, it was little enough. No, celebrate that. Why? Because it's going to help propel you to that next victory, which is going
Right,
to
and
help you
that's what I mean by motivate, right? It motivates you to keep
propel to the
going,
next
right?
victory, which is going to actually help you propel to a big victory.
Right,
Because at the end of the day, there's an end goal in mind. You know what I'm saying? But you have to have those small baby steps, those small baby celebrations that's going to help you reach that result that you really want to, that you desire.
right. So look, at the end of the day, you got to accept yourself, right?
Yeah.
You gotta. It's about changing what you can, and accepting what you can't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was growing up, I didn't want to hear that shit. But it's like as you get older, you understand that you can only control what you can control, right? So in saying that, it goes back to what I was saying: change what you can change, and accept that you can't change what you can't change, right?
Yeah.
Once you understand that, like that's personal growth. You learn. That's what I said. Knowledge is power. Once you understand that, that's knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So besides that, you have to build self-efficiency. When I say that, what do you think?
Build self-efficiency is basically become better. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? You got to become better at your skills. You got to become better at everything you're doing to be faster and be more efficient. Like when it comes to like building a business, you know, in the beginning, you're not going to be efficient because you don't know all the ins and outs of it yet. But once you start knowing all the ins and outs of it, matter of fact, I'll give you a breakdown. When you're working at BJ's,
right,
when you work the first line, you didn't know, like you didn't really know. And then once you run that first line, okay, you became more efficient. You know how to handle it. You got your little shortcuts here and there. So now you know how to handle that station better. Next thing you know, you start learning another station and doing the
right,
same thing. And next thing you know, you started learning the whole line. Now you became more efficient to the point where instead of, let's say in the kitchen standpoint, instead of needing 6 of you people, they only need 4 of you. Why? Because I have one person who can handle 3.
right.
That's building efficiency.
Function on a high level. Yeah,
Right.
right. So like for me, right? Like when I say build self-efficiency, right? It's about believing in your ability to change, right? This is important because um like what the hell? My bad. I heard someone outside. Believe in your ability to change. This is important for indicating and maintaining a healthy behaviors, right? I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what's going on outside behind me. Like my window right behind me. Like I don't like. It
Probably
ain't
is
no
it
mailman. I don't know. It's like a
a storm?
loud noise. No, it sounds like I don't know. Like sorry, moving furniture. I don't know what it is, but that's neither here nor there, right? Um, so like we need to focus on our strengths, right? Instead
Mhm.
of trying to improve our weaknesses, at the end of the day, all we need to focus on is improving our or not just improving, it's about maximizing our strengths, right?
Mhm.
You agree with that? Like we need to not worry about improving our weaknesses. We need to maximize our strengths, and
Yeah.
that's what's going to make us better as individuals.
Well, I agree with that. Yeah, improve. Focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. We hear that all the time because you capitalize on what you are good at. You don't capitalize on what you're bad at. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't forget about your weaknesses because that's what's going to help you navigate to work on your strengths. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about your weaknesses, but focus on your strengths. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Focus on what help you get better. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a great people person, focus on becoming a better people person. If you're a
right,
great, chef, focus on becoming a better chef. Focus on
right,
being better than Chef Ramsay. You know what I'm saying? Always focus on trying to just be better
right,
than what it is because there's always another level.
right. Another thing I want to say is, to add to what I was saying, like as far as personal growth, development, progression in life, right? We need to learn how to reflect, right? And reflecting on what happened can help you learn from experiences and make future changes, right? Like
Mhm.
when once you learn how to reflect, it's all about you figure out what works and what don't work, right? And once you can figure out what worked in your life or what didn't work in life, you capitalize on that and you build on that.
Mhm.
What didn't work, you push to the side. What did work, now you got to
You
capitalize. You
rolled
got to
into it.
find ways to build on that. Like, all right, like the saying say, what's if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
So
Yep.
if it's broke, leave it alone. If it's not broke, capitalize. Figure out mentally, right?
Hmm.
How can I maximize that? How can I build on that? Right? And a lot of people, they don't think like that. They don't worry about that. They live day to day instead. They don't think about long term. They live by the
Short term.
short term. Yes. So
They think
that
about
we're on
what
the same page.
they think about the now. They don't think about the future. So it's like
Right.
you always got to think about the end goal in mind. So it's like you always got to build towards it. It may
Right.
not happen. Remember, I went back earlier what I said. You know what I'm saying? Life is about delayed gratification. You know what I'm saying? And everything's not about instant gratification. So if you just focus on living in delayed gratifications, things are going to happen. Now, I'm not saying don't try to work instantly, but just
Right.
understand that things are
Hmm.
delayed gratified. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying don't work fast. I'm not trying to say don't try to get it be instant, but just understand that when it doesn't happen when you want it to happen, just understand that's just the delayed gratification at work.
Right. So look, overall, we can change ourselves for the better if we acknowledge our mistakes and look for the future, right? If we get out of our own comfort zone, associate with others that's focused on success, set short-term and long-term goals, and stop comparing ourselves to other people and worry about ourselves, we'd be better off.
Mm.
How do you feel about that message?
I mean, I feel like stop worrying about other people and what they
Swear,
feel like. Hmm?
which is no, I was about to say no, I ain't mean to cut you off, but it's like my wheels are turning. It's just like a lot of times, men and women, we think about how we're viewed or how this person going to look at us. If we just focus more so on self and say, "I'm trying to better myself. I don't care what nobody else think. I don't care what how they feel. If I'm going to better myself, I got to do this for myself. I can't worry about what's coming to the left or to the right, right? So
Hmm.
that's where I was going with that. Like, um, once we understand that and we try to better ourselves, because a lot of people, they say they want to better themselves, but they're so confused. They're so worried
They
about,
don't know. They don't know how.
right. They worried about how they're gonna be viewed. You gotta we as people, we gotta take that out of our minds. If you want to do better, if you want to better yourself, do it for yourself. Don't worry about nobody else. Because self is should come before anybody else, right?
Right. You should always think you got to worry about you got to fix yourself before you be able to fix others.
So okay, so you probably touched on this already, but let me say this. When I say self progression, what comes to your mind?
Advancing.
Advancing. Okay. So by definition, it's the process of developing or moving gradually towards a more advanced state, right? So all right, so it's about moving forward, and that's what I was saying. A lot of times people don't worry about moving forward because it's so consumed by how other people's going to view them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say self-adaptation, what comes to your mind?
Self-adaptation is that basically you learn how to adapt towards your situation. You learn to
Okay.
adapt.
Right. Okay. So by definition, for that, it's the capability of the system to adjust to its behaviors in response to the environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's being able to adjust oneself readily to to different conditions. It's the act of changing something or changing your behavior to make it suitable for a new purpose or situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so you answer that correctly. Like so all this ties in together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, another thing, and like I said, it all ties in together. When I say self-development, what comes to your mind?
Building yourself up better.
Hmm. Okay. Again,
Technically, I would say building yourself up,
all right.
getting yourself better.
So by definition, it says it's the process of developing or being developed, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
specified state of growth or advancement. So, like you said, building yourself up, right? So let me say this. Anytime you are consciously making an effort to improve yourself, you are participating in a personal development. It allows us to become the best version of ourselves, giving us the skills and the confidence necessary to navigate any situation. It's the capacity and action to grow oneself, awareness, abilities, talents, and skills in order to improve the quality of life. Right?
Right.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, you pretty much said it all in that sentence.
Right.
There's nothing I can really add to that
So
one.
I get it. So like I said, so at now I'm gonna say this as a as a black community, this is
Mm-hmm.
something we need to learn from. We need to grow from, but like not just black people, just people in
People in
general, because the
general,
world
yeah.
is changing. Right? They need to learn from this. Like we need to understand that knowledge is power, knowledge is key, and knowledge is the greater good. Because without knowledge, we're fools. Without knowledge, so like my father used to tell me and my brother, my younger brother, growing up, right? And I say younger brother because my father, he only had two kids, me and my younger brother. My
Mm-hmm.
the three oldest brothers, they was from another father, right? Same, we all
Mm-hmm.
got the same mothers. So I say this. My father used to tell us like knowledge is key, knowledge is power. Never stop trying to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So like as a black community as a whole, we need to understand that that's not a weakness because somebody's intelligent, because you're smart. Don't look at them as a weirdo or a dweeb or a loser or nothing like that. When you read, like reading is fundamental. And I know you heard that before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the more you read, it builds on your socialization skills, it builds your vocabulary, it takes you a long way. Because guess what? When it times, so if you don't read, if you come from the hood and you try to get a 9 to 5, they're gonna look at you like, nah, I'm a pass. Your application goes to the bottom of the list. Somebody that sounds sophisticated, they knowledgeable, guess what? Now they're gonna take you more serious. So
Mm-hmm.
in the black community, we need to understand that. We need to embrace that. We need to do better. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. That's all I'm trying to
absolutely.
say.
No, you're right.
But
Like really, we just got to focus, and it goes back to what I said. If we learn how to read and self-improve, like if us as a black community more focus on reading books, and not even say black community, people in general, most people don't read books. Most people
right.
don't, and it's not just. I want to say
I think white people do.
yes.
That's
I'm
why
not
they
gonna.
generally they're more proper, they're more prim, they're more knowledgeable of certain things. Because it just goes back to slavery. Because in slavery, we didn't have the knowledge, we didn't have the understanding of certain things. But like once technology, once slavery was abolished, we had the freedom to learn these things, right? But then we were so hell bent on our history to the point where we didn't probably teach our kids. What we taught our kids is the hardships that we went through. We don't
Mhm.
teach them about what we could be if we disregard the negativity. You know what I'm trying to say?
True, but
So
but with that, it's just hard to, as a community, it's just hard to just forget about that. But what we should do is learn from that, and like you're saying, and grow from that, and say, hey, listen, this is what we went through, but now that we have the ability to learn from it and grow from it, let's take advantage of it while we have this freedom to just become better. It's all about just becoming better. You know what I'm saying? It's all just about just self-progressing and self-developing yourself. And that's why go back to what I'm saying. If you want to learn how to get better, then you got to focus on the things you want to do to get better when it comes to exercising. Got to work out every day. If you want to get better when it comes to your people skills, you got to read books or listen to videos or listen to audios on how to get better with people. If you want to, anything you learn, like we're in a society, we're in a time in an era where there's not one thing you can't learn.
Right.
You literally can learn everything. That's the reason why you think you got little babies, 5-year-olds more smarter than we was when we was 5-year-olds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got 5-year-olds who knows how to use it still boggles my mind when I see a 3-year-old know how to use a tablet.
Right.
It boggles my mind. I'm like, yo, this kid is using. I remember like it just when I saw a 3-year-old just playing games on a tablet. And I'm like, the kid is 3 years old. When I was 3 years old, you know what I was doing? I was in the corner playing with toys. This kid is playing on a computer. And this is the reasons why society and these younger children are getting very tech savvy, because they're learning it from a younger age.
Right.
So, I mean, it's good in that aspect, because that's where we're heading. You know what I'm saying? We're heading into a more, tech phase, and that's where it all is right now.
Right. Now, listen, I see the timing. Yeah. It's been great. And hopefully I can get you on future episodes. But that's going to conclude this tonight's episode.
All right.
I hope you and the viewers enjoyed it. Make sure you share, subscribe, just to spread the word. And like I said, hopefully I can get you on another episode. But it's been great. You've been a good speaker, and I feel like tonight was great. I feel like it's been motivational. But I'm gonna put a pause on tonight, and like I said, we'll stay in touch. I appreciate you.
Man. I appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night.